All right, guys, welcome to episode 30 of Press X Podcast. Thank you guys so much for being patient. I do like to give just a couple of minutes before I go live just to let more people file in. And it also gives me a little bit of extra time to get everything sorted out and in order. So thank you guys for being here. If you could do me a favor, hit that like button. We did hit the goal of getting 200 likes before we went live, which is always awesome. So thank you guys so much for that. Likes really do help the podcast out, helps with the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, today we have a lot of really good stuff to talk about. We have a lot of PlayStation news and just stuff I want to dive into. Before getting into it, though, we're also going to be talking a lot about Xbox as usual. I know that a lot of you like to tune in to the podcast for rants, so I'm sure there will be at least one or two scattered throughout as usual. But yeah, before I get into that, I do want to just address a couple of things. The first thing I want to address has to do with the most recent stream I did, which was for Gamescom. And those of you who did tune into that, you know it was kind of a disaster in every aspect. So I went back and I saw that apparently the stream itself, I was streaming it directly through the Game Awards YouTube channel. Seemed like the stream itself was actually really not doing too great. So it made me question just how much of the choppiness and the issues that I was encountering when streaming that were actually coming from my end. And I started to realize that I think a lot of it was actually coming from their end. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And I also say that because there have been many times I've streamed events where, it was okay. For example, the PlayStation 5 event. I didn't have any serious issues with that. Other events I have run into some issues, but Nintendo Power, you're saying my biggest hope for people is this new console generation of gaming is that they realize just how important the games actually comparative to hardware, how important they are comparative to hardware. Yeah, I agree, Nintendo Power. Thank you for that super chat. But about the stream, it's not public because there was some copyright issues I ran into. Not only that, but I realized that considering how disastrous the stream was, I don't really think anybody wants to sit there and watch it. My hope, yeah, I see Chase the Chosen One, you're saying the Gamescom stream was a laggy mess. Yeah, I think some of it was on my end, but I think the majority of it was actually on their end, and I didn't realize that. A lot of you guys were telling me to go stream it from somewhere else, such as IGN or Twitch, and I probably should have listened considering I tried pretty much everything else I could to get the stream fixed. And at some point it did actually smooth out. And, I don't know if that was because of me, but maybe you guys can let me know right now, how is the stream looking? I know that we're just seeing the members' credits roll, but you can let me know how the stream is because as usual, it seems like the stream is fine when it comes to my weekly podcast. So it's always a little bit strange to me when I'm, trying to live stream these events and I seemingly run into all these problems. You're saying it's lagging a little bit. That could actually be the video itself because I had some issues actually getting together this credits roll. So like 3/4 of it is actually in slow motion, which is why it looks so choppy. And then you'll see it smooth out because I had to make sure to get everybody's name in. I did notice that I was having issues last week. There's always issues I'm running into on a weekly basis, it seems, trying to compile the members' credits roll here, where for some reason it just cut off. Like you'll see it right here. It's going to kind of cut off and then fade into another, and it should look smoother right here. But yeah, I just wanted to address this because it really frustrated me. And when I saw that, there were issues with the stream, it just immediately put me in a bad mood. And then when we saw how lackluster Gamescom really was, that just made it even worse. Although the Ratchet and Clank gameplay demo, which we will talk about, certainly went a long way in, making the whole situation feel better at the end of the day. But yeah, something else I do want to address, and you guys can let me know, this is going to be kind of important, and I want to mention this at the beginning. I'm still trying to figure out if I'm having issues on a weekly basis with my podcast not showing up in people's subscription feeds. I've been told by some people that they don't see it within the subscription feed beforehand, and they don't see it afterwards. They only see it at the top of their feed when I'm actually live. And I have been trying really hard to figure out what is causing this, what could potentially be causing this, and whatnot. So I really don't know, and I'm gonna be looking to you guys to let me know after the fact in the comments once again. So if it's still a problem, I have to continue to try to find a solution. LSSJT, you're saying, bruh, last podcast I took a rip of a bong each time you said I'ma be real, and I'm still in a whole nother universe. Please help. LSSJT, well, thank you for that super chat. I would not recommend playing a game like that, where take a rip of a bong or a shot every time I say a specific thing, because I have a tendency to repeat myself with some of the things I say. So, Nintendo Power, you're saying people are hyper focused on Power, buying a box for Power when it doesn't have any games. That guy you can't get on PS5 or PC is backwards. Yeah, don't worry, Nintendo Power. We're gonna be getting into that pretty heavily with discussions we have throughout this podcast. Adrian Pollard, you're saying big hug to you, man. You are family in my book. So yeah, truly asking what the F you think is really going on with Phil and the Xbox Series X. So glad I'm going to Sony. Well, thank you so much for that, Adrian. I really do appreciate that. I view you guys as my extended family as well. The community we have here, really appreciate your support. And it always makes me feel good when people seem to genuinely appreciate the content I put out. Makes it feel much more worth it, But when it comes to Phil Spencer and what's going on with the Xbox Series X, we're going to get into that. Don't worry. We will be diving into these discussions. I'm just trying to do some house cleaning, I guess, here in the beginning. So, yeah, like I said, once the stream is ended, anybody who is watching now, if you could come back and leave a comment letting me know. Keep in mind, it usually takes a couple of hours for the stream to process once it's finished before it does show up in your feed. But once it's finished processing, if it's going the way it should show up at the top of your feed. So let me know about that. And thank you, Bilal M, for becoming a member, buddy. Really appreciate that. Look forward to your exclusive perks. Thank you for joining aboard here. J-Dub, you're saying, what's good, peeps? Just dropping by. Have a great Sunday. Hashtag PlayStation 5. Well, thank you for that, J-Dub. I agree with the hashtag PlayStation 5. It seems like everybody and their mother is excited and talking about the PlayStation 5. So far, I'm having a pretty good day. I think this podcast is going to make it better. So thank you for that, buddy. And we also have another new member, Jerry Cummings. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome aboard. Look forward to your exclusive perks. Appreciate all those of you who are going above and beyond to support me here as a independent content creator. And one last thing I want to mention before we dive into the topics. I apologize that this intro is taking so long, but yeah, I will plug memberships. Anybody who wants to support me directly, that's one way for you to do so. It's a way for you to kind of support me on a monthly basis, and you do get some perks. Me and Brown Sugar are once again going to be recording I guess a bonus podcast episode, or what I call MBG and Friends, where we're going to talk about some subjects. Last month, we talked all about the Xbox event, the July 23rd event, and that's out there for members right now. This month, it'll probably go live I think tomorrow, if not tomorrow, the first day of September. We're going to talk about a bunch of different topics, stuff that's been going on. So if you want to become a member, feel free to do so. You get some exclusive perks and you get to support me directly. Spacebar, you're saying, I know Phil says he doesn't care about console sales, but won't he get more Game Pass subscribers if he sells more consoles? The messaging on that seems weird. Yeah, that's one thing I guess I will mention here. Obviously, we'll talk more in depth about it as we go further into the podcast, but something I've seen, and this kind of feeds into the conversation we're going to have about PC games, specifically PlayStation games going to PC. So with that being said, I'm going to switch out the footage here. You're going to see some Ghost of Tsushima gameplay. You're going to see some PUBG gameplay, and you're going to see some Fall Guys gameplay. I felt like it was relevant to put some PUBG gameplay because that is one of the games that Sony will be giving out to PlayStation Plus members for September. So, with that being said, let's actually just dive into one of the first topics, which has to do with Sony's most recent financial report. There's a lot of really good information in there, and I will be making a separate video on it on top of talking about it here in the podcast because I know that not everybody likes to tune into the podcast and get their information fed to them that way. But one of the things that was talked about was how Sony plans to continue to explore the PC space, and they apparently are planning to bring more of their first party titles to PC. And this has caused, as usual, quite the conversation. But to be completely honest with you guys, I don't know why it seems to be creating so much buzz this time, considering we just saw Horizon Zero Dawn release on PC and before that, Death Stranding. And we're hearing that it's very likely, apparently, that Bloodborne is going to be coming to PC, which I'm fully expecting. And so, there's a couple things I want to talk about with the PC stuff specifically. First of all, this is not surprising at all. If I had to assume, I believe Sony is going to continue kind of diving into their back catalog of games and slowly releasing them onto PC, because I think Horizon Zero Dawn was basically a safe bet, or safe experiment, I should say, where they're trying to play it as safe as they can, where they're going to take a game. You're saying MBG, does your membership accept PayPal? I'm not sure. It's done through Google Pay, so I can't tell you honestly. Sorry about that. But Sony, I think, was just trying to play it as safe as they could by taking a game such as Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a very beloved game. It's a very well-known game. And it's a game that, got very high review scores and sold really well on the PS4. They want to take that, they want to put it onto PC to see how the PC audience responds to it. To be honest, it seems like the response hasn't really been that great. It seems like there were some issues with it, and Guerrilla Games is in the process of fixing it. But I also heard that apparently it's not off to a very great sales start, which I haven't looked too deeply into that. But either way, that's, I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means Sony would stop putting their games on PC, or if they just don't care because whatever sales they do rack up on PC are just going to be extra. It's just like the icing on top of the cake for them. True Witty, you're saying it's like your girl, would you share? Same with PC and PS. But my whole thing here is I think it just makes a lot of sense for Sony to be taking this type of approach. I know that the big fear that a lot of people have, and I want to actually explain to you why it seems incredibly unlikely that Sony, anytime remotely soon, would do day and date PC releases, because that seems to be the big concern, which, to be honest, that would concern me as well. And it's unfortunate because there's like a stigma around, if you express any type of concern about Sony releasing their games on PC, people immediately jump on you and make fun of you because they just assume you're a crying fanboy. But that's not necessarily the case. At least that's not how I see it. You're saying Horizon Zero Dawn only sold 200 to 500,000 on PC. Yeah, I guess I don't know if that's... See, we don't know what Sony's expectations are, so we can't say whether or not that's a success or a failure. But the way I see it is like this. The reason why Sony, and it wouldn't be in their best interest, at least not right now, or even anytime soon, the reason why Sony would not want to release their games onto PC day and date, similar to what Microsoft is doing, is because Sony still cares very much about hardware sales. They care about selling PS4s, or they did at this point. I'm going to assume they don't care too much about it because they're moving on to the PS5. But it's abundantly clear that Sony's main priority is we want to sell as many PS5s as we possibly can. And there's actually a really important reason for that. I'll tell you in 1 second. First, let's see what Oi Akarumi has to say. You're saying, check this out. Netflix is thinking about buying Paramount to get their own MCU. What do I think about that? Well, I guess to deviate, I think that would be pretty cool. It's competition. I could see Netflix wanting to make a big power play like that. Netflix is absolutely huge. But the reason why Sony cares so much about selling consoles, and this is why I cannot fully agree with some Xbox individuals, or maybe not even just Xbox individuals, but I say that specifically because it seems like they are the ones who are very much convinced that Sony will be doing exactly what Microsoft is. And also, I know I keep getting distracted. You can clearly see my ADD come through here, but you're seeing this gameplay of me trying so hard to be stealthy in Ghost of Tsushima, and frankly, I just suck at being stealthy in this game. So you're just gonna see me do some weird stuff. So I do apologize for that because it looks kind of funny, but there's a lot of people who were pretty convinced that Sony is going to do the exact same thing that Microsoft is, which is they're going to release their games onto PC day and date. And the reason they say this is going to happen, and it does make sense, to be fair. They say it's because Sony wants to be as profitable as possible. They make the majority of their money through their game sales, which is not incorrect. That's actually true. So their logic is this means Sony would want to put all of their games across as many different platforms in the long run, potentially, just like Microsoft is. While that is true, there is one very important thing I think people are either not understanding, they're forgetting about it, or they're just not paying attention to it and they're not aware of it. The reason why Sony still cares so much about selling hardware and trying to get people to invest in their hardware, the reason why Sony still very much has this this business mentality where they want you to come to them, they don't want to have to bring it to you, is because there is a huge advantage in that when it comes to the idea of customer retention. Okay. When you can convince someone, okay, I just said okay twice within 5 seconds. When you can convince someone, okay, to go out there and spend $300, $400, $500, whatever it may be, on a new console, you are psychologically getting a human being to invest into something. There are really not that many people who would be willing to spend that amount of money on a piece of hardware with the intention of just walking away from it and barely ever using it or turning it on. I mean, there are, of course, those individuals who say, oh, I only ever turn on my PlayStation to play exclusive games. Still, that's a win for Sony, even if that is the case. However, it's much more likely, there are many more people, I mean to say, that are buying this console for this price, and they plan to use it maybe not necessarily on a daily basis, but certainly on a weekly basis. They plan to make it their go-to machine for gaming, and in other areas as well, such as, watching movies. I recently just watched Bill and Ted 3 on my PlayStation. I rented it right from the PlayStation Store. Great movie. I loved it. I actually watched the first two. So let me know if you're somebody who watched Bill and Ted 3. What did you think of it? I really enjoyed it, but I'm just pointing out that I do use my PlayStation for more than just gaming, but gaming is obviously the priority. But Sony is getting people to invest, and that investment is critical to customer retention. The chances of a customer coming back and really just, engaging with the platform and the ecosystem are much higher when they're doing so after spending hundreds of dollars on this piece of hardware to engage in that ecosystem versus somebody who's just paying a subscription fee each month, such as $10 to $20, right? I feel like this is something that people don't understand. Psychologically speaking, it's in Sony's best interest to try to sell hardware. Just like I've always said, I think that's in Microsoft's best interest as well. I think Microsoft does know that, but the problem is Microsoft is just, they've seemingly, ever since the start of the Xbox One generation, have had a very difficult time selling that hardware. Crispy, you're saying, I am assuming the work for porting older exclusive to PC will coincide with a PS5 native mode release. Yeah, that's another good point you bring up there, Crispy. That seems very likely to me as well, where if they're going to be putting it in, that work anyway for the PC port, it just makes sense to, basically if they're going to enhance the game for PS5, there's really no reason why they can't bring it over to PC as well, because these are older titles we're talking about that are not taking full advantage of the PlayStation 5's SSD or its hardware. Adrian Pollard, you're saying, so my fiance is frustrated that we don't even know what you look like. I am being asked if you are tall, short, eye color. Should I be worried, LMAO? No, I think I'm just a pretty average looking guy. I think I'm, average height. I'm not too tall. I'm not too short. My eyes are, I have brown eye color. So, you shouldn't be worried. I mean, I was just thinking about that the other day. I was like, do people think I don't go on camera because I'm some kind of hideous freak of nature or something like that? I don't see myself that way. I think I'm just, a normal, average looking dude. So I was thinking about this recently, like, man, am I really going to do a face reveal? See, I used to go on camera at the very beginning of my channel, like when I first started it, and I didn't really care too much because I didn't overthink it because I didn't know if people were going to care or if they were, there was no expectation. I didn't have really an audience at that time. So at this point, it is a little bit nerve-wracking. You think, when I hit 100K subscribers, would that be the right time to do a face reveal? And is it going to be awkward? I don't think it would be awkward, but if I do it, I want to do it for a special occasion. And, from that point forward, there's a chance maybe I would go on camera a little bit more. But yeah, I don't know that I would want all of my content to be me on camera. But in the long run, we don't know. We don't know. But yeah, I didn't get to see the chat when people were at, when it came to Bill and Ted 3. I was asking you guys if you saw it, but I did watch it. Silly movie, really good movie. But I don't mean to get too off topic here. Trying to hide my chipmunk cheeks. No, I don't know, man. Like I'm just I'm pretty average. There's nothing really, I have a big nose, so there's that. I guess that would be like a standout feature. Anyway, you guys always do this to me. You guys always completely derail what I'm trying to talk about. But is Chorus Series X gameplay? I don't think we've seen any Series X gameplay. We will get into that conversation later. Don't worry. We will be talking about that. But I guess just to finish up what I'm trying to say here about the whole PC thing is I don't have an issue at all with the idea of Sony wanting to put some of their older titles onto PC. And even when it comes to PlayStation 5 titles, if Spider-Man Miles Morales, let's just use Spider-Man Miles Morales. If that comes out at the launch of the PS5 and then Sony decides that at some time in late 2023, they want to put that onto PC, if it's possible, I don't think that's going to that won't matter to me. I can tell you that. That won't matter to me. My only concern is if Sony, and that, just to get to the crux of the issue here, that's what people are so concerned about. Is this a sign that Sony is going to start, say, putting their PlayStation 5 exclusives on the PC? I don't think it is. I really don't think it is because, the Sony seems concerned with how many PS5s they're going to sell. And so if they were to ever do that experiment, and I think that day will come. Like, I think the day is going to come where Sony's going to experiment, where they're going to decide that they're going to not do a day and date release, but they're going to close the gap, right? Like, they're not going to wait 3 years. Maybe this time they're going to wait 1 year. And they're going to see, how does this impact our PlayStation 5 console sales? Because I promise you, the second they see that a move they make when it comes to putting their games onto PC has a negative impact on their console hardware sales, the second they see that in a tangible way, they're not going to do it. They're going to be like, okay, never mind. We don't want to risk getting in the way of our console sales. But if they do that, let's say they release, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I'm just saying, let's just say they decide we're going to put Spider-Man Miles Morales onto PC in holiday 2021. Okay, 1 year later. And if it has no negative impact on console sales, then I don't see the problem. Because as a gamer who cares about the console and I want to see the console thrive and still be a standout thing in gaming, that's my only concern. So if Sony does it and they don't see a negative, side to it, and there is no real negative impact, then okay. Day and date, however, I think inevitably there would be a negative impact on console sales for sure. I think we've actually seen that with Microsoft. Uriel, if I'm saying your name correctly, I apologize if I just butchered your name. You're saying, hey, MBG, with the next gen being able to stream in more assets and overall more condensed worlds, will Blu-ray discs memory capacity hold games back? That's a good question. I don't know. I want to say that there will be some type of evolution of the Blu-ray disc where there will be an increase in the amount of storage potentially. I don't know if that's already a thing, but if not, then I could just see there being the need for multiple discs, kind of like we've seen with some of the bigger games like The Last of Us Part 2 and Final Fantasy, I believe, was one of them, if I'm not mistaken. But I know The Last of Us Part 2 was like double disc, we've seen that this generation. We might continue to see that with the PS5. But yeah, the whole PC thing, I just want to let you guys know, because I know that there are some PlayStation fans who are very much like totally against what Sony's doing in the PC space. You have to understand they're going to pursue it. You know, Horizon Zero Dawn should have been your biggest indicator that this is something that Sony is pursuing. And they're trying to do it in a smart way. They're not diving in head first. They're not jumping in head first, assuming that, it's going to be a massive success. They will slowly enter that water, inch by inch, to ensure that the second it becomes too deep or it becomes too uncomfortable, in this case, I'm metaphorically speaking about the second it has a negative impact on their console hardware sales, they're going to back up or they're going to stop in their tracks. And so you're going to continue to see them push. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay? You're going to see more games. It wouldn't surprise me if next year it's announced that Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, along with God of War, although, you have to imagine that it might not be a bunch of games at one time. That really wouldn't make much sense. I think Sony's going to try to treat each PC release kind of as like, oh, get excited, you know what I mean? So they can maximize sales. But it wouldn't surprise me if in the next year or two you do see The Last of Us Part 2 and potentially Ghost of Tsushima make their way to PC. I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me, because at that point, how many people are still buying PS4s to play these games? Although we do have to take into account backwards compatibility. So because the PlayStation 5 could play both of these games, they might not want to do that right away. Instead, we could see older games like Bloodborne, and I'm going to say this, all right? I think the natural progression for Sony right now in the PC space, as I adjust my freaking chair here, I think the natural progression for Sony in the PC space at this point is start with your older titles, start with the titles that have been out there for some, couple of years now. And while you're also working on a PC port, make a PS5 version as well for those who want it. But that's where it gets into murky territory, because then, Bloodborne's a good example. If there is, in fact, a PS5 version of Bloodborne that they're going to sell, certainly it can't be at full price. It has to be at like $20 or $30, maybe $40. I think $40 is pushing it though. But even then, people are going to question, why didn't we just get this upgrade for free? And that's where Sony could run into tricky territory when it comes to them maybe trying to speed up the process. So Adrian Pollard, you're saying, I truly want to know how they are deciding who gets to get the official pre-order email. It seems very experimental. I check mine every day now. To touch on that for a moment, when it comes to the pre-orders, I don't know what the criteria is. Sony didn't make it clear. In my mind, I want to believe that because I signed up for it, whoever checks these emails, or checks the signups, I should say, over at Sony, I like to think that they're going to see, oh, MBG, isn't he that dude on YouTube with a PlayStation-centric channel that always talks about the PS5? Let's make sure we give him a pre-order. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. And so it really does make you wonder, like, what exactly are they looking for? I want to tell you guys this. They might not be looking for anything, honestly. This just might be a little test to try to gauge the demand for the PS5 and trying to see, like, how many people are really, like, right there in the know who are willing to sign up, who are PS4. Maybe they're trying to gauge PS4 players that are going to be ready day one to upgrade to PS5. It could just be their way of trying to, gauge that number and figure that out. I think that makes a lot of sense for Sony to do that, considering we still do not have official pre-orders out there. Guys, I got to tell you, just to talk about the pre-order thing for a second, because we still have a lot to go over, but I know that this is a big point of conversation right now. Pre-orders will be going live in September, okay, with or without a price. You can lock that in, guaranteed. I can't tell you which day. The big rumor is September 9th, and that's actually speaking to the event, which I'm going to talk more about that later. But I got to tell you, they're going to go live in September. I am scared. I am frightened. I am nervous. It's really starting to creep in my mind and like kind of stick there, where I'm starting to think, uh-oh, Like, am I not going to be able to get a PS5 day one? Because for me specifically, and I know we all want a PS5 for the same reason, to experience next gen gaming. But I do have a PlayStation centric YouTube channel here that has been talking very, very frequently about the PlayStation 5. It would, in my opinion, be very detrimental if I happen to be one of these unfortunate and unlucky individuals who just could not secure a pre-order. So I'm hoping that I can get one. I try not to talk about pre-orders too much because to me, I just feel like I'm waiting in the shadows, right? Like this sounds ridiculous. I'm just waiting in the shadows, just waiting to hear that moment. And the second that moment comes, I won't be making a YouTube video. I won't be updating anybody on Twitter because what I will be doing is going out there and trying to secure my own damn pre-order. And then the second I do is when I'll talk more about it. But iSiler18, you're saying I fully expect not to get one at launch and everyone else should have that mindset. I refuse to accept that. That may be a rational mindset that can prepare you for the worst, but I refuse. I refuse to have that mindset because let me put it to you this way. If I didn't have a YouTube channel that was centered around the PS5 and PlayStation, I would be much more like, well, I'll try my best. And if I don't get one, I don't get one. That's not my situation though. I don't just want a PS5 day one. I need a PS5 day one, and I will, if need be, pay whatever price some, a-holes on the internet are going to be putting them up for when they're all sold out. If that's what I have to do, then that's what I have to do. I hope it doesn't come down to that, but it is concerning. It is concerning. I'm not going to lie. Those of us who are really very much like you want to be there day one, Sony seems to be making it very clear that, yeah. I mean, this is where the double-edged sword comes in. Like, we want to celebrate the fact that the PS5 is in such high demand and people are so excited for it. But then it's like, but you're also going to have to fight people for it. It's like, damn. Rich of Review Tech USA is also very worried he won't get one. Yeah, I mean, dude, Sony's making it clear between just how anticipated this console is, coupled with the fact that, there's a lot of issues. There have been a lot of issues with production due to the state of the world. It is concerning, man. It really is. Worst case scenario, you just have to wait it out. But dude, I don't know, man. I'm willing to go to some great lengths to get a PlayStation 5 if need be. A Shorty Faye, you're saying, don't worry, 2020 is one thing, but every new console generation supply is short as long as you pre-order one from wherever when it goes live. Yeah, that's the big question. I think that's, just to kind of finish off talking about pre-orders momentarily here, that's the big question with pre-orders that I think we all have is how we all know they're going to sell out. We all know that they're going to go relatively quick, but the question is just how quick are these pre-orders going to go? Are we talking seconds? Are we talking minutes? Are we talking hours? Ideally, you would hope it would be hours, so that way you have some leeway. But I just have this lingering fear that I'm going to see, the notification go live on Twitter. Sony announces pre-orders are live and they go live for, retailers. And it sounds like a nightmare because something you can also anticipate is that even when you do get that notification and you do go on to Best Buy, GameStop, Amazon, Target, wherever online, if you're not going in store, maybe going in store would be the smarter thing. I mean, obviously, you got to be careful out there these days, but maybe that would be the smarter thing because you think about if you're going to pre-order online, what about the website crashing? What if it crashes? What if every website crashes? I mean, this is why I'm scared. Okay, in case you can't tell, I'm very scared that I'm not going to be able to pre-order PS5. I think honestly, what I might do is when pre-orders go live, I might just immediately go to my local GameStop, or Best Buy, or even Target or Walmart or wherever. Just basically, I might do it from a retailer because I just feel like you're more guaranteed when they go live. Like you have the biggest window with the least amount of risk. And I know this may sound ridiculous, but there's always the risk that you're going to go out to a store, you're going to pre-order one, and the day comes, you're going to go out there and you're going to pick it up, midnight launch potentially. And you're just that unlucky soul, man, that gets jumped and, just somebody's waiting out there for you. They see your bag and they're like, I'm just going to rob you now. I mean, I know that's extreme. In case you guys can't tell, I have a lot of anxiety about PlayStation 5 pre-orders. Chase the Chosen One, you're saying, I refuse to have the mindset I'm going to do everything in my power to get a PS5 day one. I'll wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning if I have to. Yeah, dude, that's how I feel too, I'll rob somebody if I have to. I don't care. I'll be that guy. I'll be standing outside. I'm just kidding, of course. I would never, ever think of doing such a thing. But, dude, there are people out there who do have that crazy-ass mindset where they're like, if I can't have a PS5, no one can have a PS5. And it's just like, this is maybe why I just want to. The world's a crazy place in 2020. This is why I'm just thinking maybe I'm going to pre-order mine from Amazon if I can. So, yeah, I don't mean to get so off the deep end here, but okay, yeah. Pre-orders, man. Pre-orders. I don't know. Everybody's like, when are they going to open up pre-orders? I don't care when they open them up. I just want to secure one. That's all I care about. So I would absolutely love to be one of the individuals that Sony picks through an email where they're like, we're giving you the opportunity to sign up for pre-orders, or get a pre-order in early. Man, that would be fantastic, but I'm not anticipating that. iSiler18, once again, you're saying, don't worry, if I get one first, I'll enjoy it for you and send pictures. No, man, no. If any of you guys get a PS5 and I don't, you're going to send that to me, okay? And I'll give you an exclusive face reveal. All right, there we go. Yeah, that's probably something I could leverage as well with my channel. People who get PS5s, and if I happen to be unlucky and I don't get one, you're saying, MBG, it sounds like you have an addiction issue. No, I don't. The only thing I'm addicted to is caffeine. But I feel like, almost everybody's addicted to that. But that's something maybe I could leverage, is that if there are people who, members of mine or potentially viewers and subscribers of mine that do get their PS5 early, I could bribe some people and be like, look, if you want me to do a face reveal, all you got to do is send me a PS5. And if I did that, I open a P.O. box, I do that. Before I know it, I have like 6 PS5s in there waiting for me. And I'm like, okay, now I feel kind of bad. I know, I'm just going on and on about the PS5. But yeah, it is nerve-wracking for a lot of people who are, 2020 has been a very rough year for everybody, obviously. And to a lot of people, as cliche and cheesy as it may sound, the PS5 for them is the light at the end of the tunnel. Something they're still looking forward to, something that, it's a bright spot in a otherwise very cloudy year. So, yeah, that's what people are going to be like. We'll send you a PS5 if you give us a feet reveal or whatever. I don't know, curse whoever started that on this channel. Anyway, we're getting too far off topic. We're going to dive right into the next important aspect of Sony's financial report, which, there was a lot of really important stuff in this financial report that if you do care about the direction PlayStation's going in, whether it's as a fan or as, a consumer or even somebody who is invested into PlayStation or Sony, I should say, one of the really great things that they were sure to talk about is, and this is why I support Sony the way I do, because they seem to have a very good understanding of what their greatest strength is, and that is their exclusive first-party content. So not only did they say that they're going to continue to double down on that, right? We have literally seen that. Not only are they going to continue to do that, but even more importantly, they said that they plan to accelerate the release of first-party content and exclusive games. And they cited games such as The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima with the immense success that these titles have had. They're going to double down on that. So it's just going to get bigger, it's going to get better, and we're going to see that bigger and better content more frequently. Not at the expense of, rushing things, but becoming more efficient. This is one of the biggest reasons why Sony was so focused on having a very efficient console to develop for, something that's easy for developers to develop for. This is one of the reasons, so they can produce content more rapidly, right? Adrian Pollard, once again, you're saying first was Corona, then racism, next is the console launch. Get ready for the apocalypse come Black Friday. By the way, we make the best homemade coffee here. I mean, we even grind the beans by hand. LMAO. Well, that's good, man. That's good. I don't know. I think my go-to coffee, I'm like an old man. I'm just like Maxwell House. Maxwell House. I don't know why. It's just what I've been drinking for years and years. It's just my go-to. But Yeah, maybe I should consider doing that. But yeah, I could very well see the launch of the consoles. Yeah, that's probably when the apocalypse will happen because can't have just one thing in 2020. Siler 18, you're saying, and to add fuel to the fire, I'll play The Last of Us 2 for you first, and not Spider-Man. Not cool, man. Not cool. But this is such an important thing that Sony is doing that it's music to my ears. It really is. Sony, the individuals who are running Sony, the executives, they seem to be very in tune with their consumer base and with their fan base, and they seem to be very much in tune with what makes PlayStation special in the eyes of many gamers. There are a lot of different directions they could choose to go in, but they're sitting here basically saying to their investors, the people that Sony consider, vital and the most important, that they're going to double down on content creation, that we've seen big content, when they're referencing these bigger games, and they're going to try to accelerate it. And I think we're already seeing that with the PS5 when you see just how many games they've showed off so far, Sony that is. And we're hearing from sources who are apparently in the know, and whether or not they're actually in the know is up for you to decide, but we're hearing from them that Sony has so much content in the pipeline, it's almost unbelievable. We hear all these different games. We hear the resurrection of all these different games. We hear about all the third-party deals to go along with that. And it's like, wow, Sony, they seem to be very understanding that the thing that's going to ensure the overall success and relevance of the PlayStation brand over the next 5, to even 10 years, even more so, is going to be your content. It's going to be your exclusive games. It's going to be the first party studios that you've cultivated, the talent that you've cultivated. And, Microsoft seems to be of the same mindset, but unfortunately for Microsoft, they seem to have kind of arrived to the party a little bit too late. That's not to say that they can never be great on their own, because, they do some good stuff here and there. But overall, you look at Nintendo. Nintendo has been doing this longer than anybody, so they've already known for quite some time. That, it's all about the content. It's all about, your exclusive content. It's all about what you can offer that your competition isn't, that you can't get anywhere else. Sony became very much aware of that as well from the PlayStation 1, going forward. They're still very much aware of that going into the future. It just seems that Sony's also willing to keep their mind open, their collective business minds open to the future of, because things can change, very rapidly. Sony's aware of that. They're just trying to play smart business. That's why they're still keeping their eyes on PC. All right, guys. Chill with the F and rip Xbox in the chat. I get it. Chill. Take it down a notch. We get it. But, Sony, they just understand. Microsoft, I think Microsoft is just late to the game where it's like they suddenly woke up and realized, wait, we do need to double down on our first party content and our studios and talent as well. And these are all things that you can't get overnight. And I think Microsoft is feeling the ramifications of neglecting that for so many years. And you can't just buy your way into something like this. It's something that takes time. It's something that, that is going to take many years of hard work and dedication. And there will be many ups and downs. These are things that, these are exercises, I guess, that Sony and Nintendo have been practicing for years and have pretty much mastered at this point, to where, I look at Microsoft and it's like they're kind of just walking in and being like, oh, you're telling me instead of just doing cable curls and, cable flies this whole time, I should have been focusing on my compound movements like deadlifts, squats, benching, stuff like that, and like shoulder presses. And like now they're realizing the hard way, like, yeah, you should have been doing this from the beginning to set a good foundation. Better late than never, but yeah, you're going to have to take some time now to figure this out. So yeah, that's my muscle bound analogy for the day. Give me one sec, guys. Just gotta answer this. I apologize. But Yeah, I thought that was something really important to highlight. Again, I'm certainly going to make a dedicated video to this because I think it's very important to highlight, to try to get it out there to as many people as possible. Let them know, like, look, Sony is very much in touch with their fan base. Fan base. I don't know why I keep messing up my words today. Plasmic H, you're saying, what's your favorite launch window game coming up? Well, I'm excited for all of them. I'm excited for, and thank you, Diarus, for being a good mod today. I am excited for all of the games, but if we do find out that Demon's Souls is in fact a launch window title, which I'm almost certain it is, that's going to be my most anticipated. I mean, I want to say I'm equally excited for all of them, but Demon's Souls to me is going to be the game that stands out for me personally. Wendigo, you're saying apparently the Medium was running on a Series X console, but the Xbox marketing team decided to not say it. The question is why? I did see that gameplay, the Medium gameplay. No one seems to know whether or not that was on PC or Xbox Series X. I will say if it was on the Series X, it's a huge mistake for Microsoft to not say it. Although, after watching that Medium gameplay, and this is no offense to the Medium or Blooper team, because they're a small team, they're independent, I'm just going to say I could understand why Microsoft would be hesitant to make that the first game they showcase on the Series X. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not throwing any type of shade because I think the Medium looks good, and for a smaller team, it looks very impressive. But let's face it, it's not a AAA game. When your competition, that being Sony, is showing AAA game after AAA game after AAA game running really well on the PS5 and looking phenomenal, you want to make sure the first time you're finally going to be like, hey guys, look, Series X gameplay, you want it to be something with a little bit more pizzazz, I guess, if you want to put it that way. Chris B, you're saying Microsoft did just fine throwing money around buying exclusives like Alan Wake and Sunset Overdrive. I just think their hearts aren't in it anymore. That is true. It just seems like they're not going to throw money anymore at partnerships. They're only going to throw money at what they can make theirs and exclusively theirs, like as ownership, things that they can own, studios they can own. But in doing that, they may also be greatly limiting themselves because there are a lot of studios that they could potentially spark partnerships with. Remedy was like one of them where it's like, why would you let Remedy go? Pay them more money. Keep pursuing Remedy because they are talented. Control could have been an Xbox only game, right? But they let Remedy go. Insomniac could have had, so Microsoft could have bought Insomniac, but they let them go. And so, yeah, I don't know, man. And sometimes it makes you question, are they throwing money at the wrong places or in the wrong places? D-Doc, you're saying it seems like Insomniac removed a few clouds in the latest Ratchet and Clank gameplay. Huge downgrade. We'll no longer be getting a PS5. Yeah, D-Doc, I know I can sense your sarcasm here. I'm not even going to give that the time of day. I'll just speak about it briefly. People claiming that Ratchet and Clank has had some type of visual downgrade. To those people, all I can say is you're ruining everything for yourself. I don't even know what gaming is to you anymore. I don't know how you could watch that gameplay, right? I don't know how you could watch that gameplay that was shown off in 4K and somehow walk away with, well, what about this slight minute detail that I'm literally the only person who noticed that looks slightly different and out of place? Yeah, what about that, man? I don't know. Maybe go get some help. Maybe take a step back and rethink, why you're even gaming in the first place. Because 99% of rational people, who have decent vision and were watching this in 4K will tell you the game was absolutely stunning from all aspects, from a gameplay aspect, from a technical aspect, but especially from a visual aspect. So these people, again, I'm not going to give it too much the time of day here. I don't know. All I can say is do not listen to these people because you can very clearly tell that they're very upset. They're very upset, and rather than just being excited for what looks to be a great game that's coming to the PlayStation platform in the not too distant future, they just want to try to ruin it for people. And, they will grasp at any straw they can get. So yeah, that's all I can really say about that. It is unfortunate to see that there are people once again trying to do the whole Puddlegate thing with another Insomniac game. It's absolutely ridiculous, dude. Like, it's just so stupid and mind-numbing, I can't even spend too much time talking about it. Now, if the game actually looked like a massive downgrade or there was very obviously something, then maybe we should have that conversation, but the game looked, and some I've actually seen some people point out that there was actually some areas that were upgraded, which I'm like, yeah, like that's what it seemed like to me. It looked pretty damn good. So, D-Dog, you're saying NX Gamer actually did an analysis of the footage. He's as good as Digital Foundry, in my opinion. And he actually says, if anything, things were improved. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing from people who actually, know how to properly analyze this stuff and break it down. And I'm sure we're going to get Digital Foundries as well. I have heard of NX Gamer. And I think I did come across that video. I just didn't take the time to watch it. Maybe I should have. But that's the thing is, like, I don't need, and I think it's great when people do these breakdowns, and it's always interesting when it comes to conversation. They're always great at sparking conversation, but I don't need that at this point. I've already decided a while ago that Sony showed me what I needed to see. They needed to convince me that we're going into next gen and things are going to look great in next gen, and things are going to be exciting, and it's up to them to convince me of that. And so far, everything I've seen, I'm like, yeah, I'm on board. I was already on board before, but if there was any chance of me not being on board, Sony just lit that on fire, and now it's in ashes. And the only thing that's there is just pure excitement and hype and knowing that things are only going to get better. I was originally going to put the in the thumbnail of this stream, in the thumbnail I was going to say it just keeps getting better and better for PlayStation fans. And maybe I should have, but I'm trying to have this stream also appeal to those who are not, already subscribed to the channel. But that to me is very true. It's very true that things just seem to keep getting better and better for those who were excited for the PS5, for those who are PlayStation fans. Sony just seems to be delivering in pretty much every area. And people always say, well, how come you don't criticize them? How come you don't call them out? And I'm going to be honest. What is there to criticize? What is there to call out? I mean, the only thing, in my opinion, you could maybe criticize at this point is how quiet they've been and how they're seemingly pushing off the pre-order dates and the pricing and the release date. But it is getting a little bit to ridiculous territory here, I won't lie, but so is Microsoft. And so with that being said, I got to mute my phone here. Sorry about that, guys. With that being said, it's kind of just like, what is there really to not be? I mean, I can understand if you're not excited, but what is there to truly criticize? Primal Plasma, you're saying, seeing the Rift Apart demo gave me the feelings I had as a kid in the 80s when I saw Dragon's Lair for the first time. I have to play it. Yeah. Ratchet and Clank, I don't know how anybody could watch that gameplay and not be at least a little bit impressed. Like, I could understand if you're like, oh, well, I'm not into the gameplay. It's not my cup of tea. Or, I've just never been a big Ratchet and Clank fan. That's not the game that I'm most excited for. But how could you see that in 4K and watch that entire demo and not be like, wow, there's a lot going on. I mean, let me take a sip of my tea here. Oh, sorry about that. Throat's getting a little bit dry here, but I just don't understand. Like, how people could see that, and when you see the amount of stuff that's going on screen, like the density of the world, to me, that was the thing that kind of stood out that I didn't really pay too much attention to when we saw the first trailer for Ratchet and Clank, mainly because it was a shorter trailer and I was more focused on the graphical fidelity. I was more focused on the fact that we're just seeing another PS5 exclusive. But once I sat down and I watched that demo on my big screen TV and just kind of visualizing playing this, the thing that just really stood out to me was like, wow, there is so much going on screen here. You can just immediately tell just by looking at that, just by looking at the amount of particle effects, the amount of AI, the amount of characters on screen, the amount of stuff going on in the background all at one time, while there's also ray tracing, while it's also clearly in 4K. It's like, wow, like this looks next gen, man. It really does. And to see it's looking this good, so soon, it really makes you wonder how much better can it get, right? As we go further into the generation. Mr. Hamster, you're saying some people always ignore the part where you criticize PlayStation and then you never criticize, and then they say you never criticize PlayStation. LOL. By the way, thanks for the birthday. Congrats yesterday, MVG. Yeah, Happy belated birthday at this point, Mr. Hamster. But yeah, I appreciate you pointing that out because it is very true. You know, I don't criticize Sony very often because, in my opinion, Sony isn't really doing a lot very often that is worth criticizing. Like, there's not, like, they're mostly, I mean, lately especially, they're pretty much doing everything I could hope for as a console gamer, as a PlayStation fan at this point. But if they do things that are like questionable or seemingly on the same level as like some of the crap that Microsoft is doing, yeah, you better believe I will question that and I will call it out, but they're not doing that. So, for example, like if they were to announce that their games, their PS5 games are going to be day and date with PC, yeah, at that point, I'm going to be like, what are you doing? Why? You know, I will question that and I will criticize that because I think it's a mistake for their console. But they're not doing that. And we also have a new member once again, 01 Mad Cat. Thank you so much for becoming a member, buddy. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the channel. Membership exclusivity, I should say. Look forward to your perks. Really appreciate that. But yeah, one other thing I do want to mention here. There's actually two other things with this financial report. Here's another big one. Sony made it clear with their financial report that they are looking to acquire more studios. Now, they also mentioned that they're looking to potentially invest in companies where the technology that these companies are pursuing, and what you see with Epic and Unreal Engine 5 is a perfect example of this. If these companies can greatly benefit Sony in the long run and benefit, you know, what Sony is pursuing, they're going to invest in these companies. You see how they invested in Epic with Unreal Engine 5. We know how much Unreal Engine 5 in the long run can greatly benefit the PS5 and the PlayStation brand. So they're investing in it, but they did say that they are looking to also acquire studios and companies as well that they feel like can really benefit them. And they did actually cite their most recent acquisition, that being Insomniac Games. And we see already so soon just how massively that investment and that acquisition is paying off for them. The fact that Insomniac Games, and you got to give a lot of credit to Insomniac, man, like they are a hell of a studio. They're going to be putting out 2 titles at launch or in the launch window of a PS5. That's kind of like unprecedented, I think, where we have one studio producing 2 games, 2 seemingly AAA quality level games, even though Spider-Man is a little bit smaller in scope and scale still. Like, that is extremely impressive. And there's apparently rumors that they have a third game in the mix aside from this proper sequel to Spider-Man 2, which is insane. But this is exciting to me because it makes you wonder, like, what is Sony's next acquisition going to be? Will they potentially announce a new studio acquisition? To me, the studios that immediately stand out in my mind, like the 2 studios that have to happen, first of all, are Blue Point Games. I mean, to me, if it's not happening this year, it's just a matter of time. I think Blue Point Games fits perfectly in Sonyos. I just said, what is up with the way I'm speaking today? Sonyos. Yep. Blue Point Games fits perfectly in Sonyos house of first party studios. I tried to say Sony and studios in the same word. So yeah, I think Blue Point Games would fit perfectly, right? Like, we see the work they do, the work that they've done for Sony, and they've just knocked it out of the park. And I think Demon's Souls is another game that they're just going to knock out of the park. You're saying MBG, dude, you need your coffee. Yeah, right. Apparently when I'm not drinking my coffee when streaming, I'm just making words up and getting words mixed up. But Blue Point Games and Housemarque. I think Housemarque also fits in perfectly, especially when you see what they're doing with Returnal. Returnal looks really good. Returnal does look AAA to me. Returnal's graphics looked more impressive than Halo Infinite's graphics. Let that sink in for a moment. This is a team of, I think, less than 100 developers, and I have to assume they haven't been working on this game too long because they had to pivot and shift directions, because originally they were planning to, Housemarque was planning to release some type of battle royale game, but then they immediately pivoted, and I'm assuming Sony had a hand in that, where they're like, look, we want to help fund this game. Do you guys have what it takes to make a AAA quality game? Because that's what they said they wanted to do. They wanted to move on to making AAA games, and you know, I think Returnal looks like it has a ton of potential. I like what I've seen of it so far, and I hope to hear more about it. It's also one of these games where I have to wonder, like, when is it going to launch? This is where you just start to see Sony has so much content, things can actually get lost in the mix. And so I think that if Sony were to think about acquiring any two studios, both of those studios would fit absolutely perfectly within Sony's family of first party, I think. Um, okay, guys, come on, chill out in the chat. Come on, keep it civil, keep it civil. I'm gonna have to, give me one sec, guys. Let me. All right, so that's that. We have Fred Vance. You're saying Warhorse Studio would be a great acquisition. Yeah, who are those guys? Are those the guys who make Chivalry? I believe. I could be wrong about that, but there's a lot of other studios as well that I'm not mentioning. But those are the two off top of my head. From Software, I don't think Sony. I mean, I don't know if there's any company that has any chance of acquiring From Software. I do think it's Sony, and I just don't know that From Software would want to make that happen. But maybe they could. I mean, I think From Software would be just massive. So he's saying this is the kind of audience you draw at MBG. Yeah, I mean, look, I try real hard to be, pretty composed and pretty fair. So, Kingdom Come Deliverance. I'm doing it again. Deliverance. What am I thinking of? Chivalry. Is there a game even called Chivalry? Am I just making... Dude, I think I'm just making stuff up today. But thank you for that, Fred Vance. My God, my stomach's growling. You can hear how hungry I am. All right, so one other thing they did mention is how they plan to also continue to support VR and invest in VR. And part of that, this is also kind of falls hand in hand with the idea of acquisitions and studios and stuff, where they want to, try to bring on more talent to, create more VR games. So that's also good as well. I have to admit, even though Sonyo sounds like a serial exclusive to PlayStation, yeah, can't wait to have a big bowl of Sonyos, but something's wrong with your mouth muscle. Yeah, I think I might be stroking out or something, guys. I don't know what's happening. I think it's just because I'm getting ahead of myself when I speak sometimes. When I'm trying to get a lot out at one time, I start just mixing words. But, yeah, so that's pretty much... just to talk about VR for 1 second as well, I gotta tell you that it seems to me that Sony is clearly going all in with VR still. And even though I didn't experience the first iteration of Sony's PSVR, I certainly plan to fully invest in the second version of it. And I think it's going to be awesome. The fact that it's going to be, years removed. They have a lot of time to make some serious improvements. Coupled with the power of the PlayStation 5, I'm definitely going to be investing heavily in the second iteration of PlayStation VR. But something else I do... See, I have to start moving along a little bit quicker here because I notice I'm spending too much time on single topics, which is fine, but I always have all these different topics, and I can never get to all of them without rushing. Something very important that Microsoft, or Sony, I should say, did confirm. Dennis, you're saying PS5 needs Japanese studios. Yeah, that's true. I could see them buying a Japanese studio. Maybe they'll just buy Konami. Maybe not Konami, the company, but I don't know. Maybe they could just buy some of their IP, right? I doubt it. But so one of the things that was recently announced as well, talking about the Ratchet and Clank demo. You guys know what I think of the demo, but Insomniac did announce that there will be a 60 FPS mode for Ratchet and Clank. And, as usual, people start getting all weird about it where they're like, well, is it going to be 4K 60? And so a developer from Insomniac, I don't know why dude, I'm like all over the place today. It's bad. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying. But a developer from Insomniac Games actually took to the Reset Error forums, and they confirmed that they will be using their temporal injection technique, which is something that essentially allows them to hit what looks to be a very high resolution, something that looks very close, very similar to 4K. And they think that it's going to be, they believe it's going to look really good. And they said they're working hard on the performance mode. So, considering how much is going on with Ratchet and Clank, the big question is will ray tracing be turned on or off? I would expect it to be turned off. But the point is, and I think this is where people, they just get so lost in the damn weeds unnecessarily. Can we just take a second to be excited and happy about the fact that this is the third game for the PlayStation 5 specifically that is going to offer a 60 FPS performance mode? Because I'm pretty sure this is exactly what I asked for, and we're actually getting it. DNick237, you're saying, I think Sony should buy the Fall Guys studio. Yeah, right. That would be an interesting one, considering how big Fall Guys is. Then you're going to see Fall Guys 2, and it's going to be an over-the-shoulder, third-person, open-world action-adventure game. Because it's a Sony-owned studio. That's a joke, obviously, but could you just imagine that? And it's going to have like a really serious, mature tone. But yeah, I think it's really great that they're actually going to be offering a 60 FPS mode. We know that Chase the Chosen One, you're saying they confirmed the 60 FPS mode will have ray tracing as well. Really? I'm going to have to take your word for this one, Chase the Chosen One, because I haven't seen that myself, but I do believe it. A lot of people were saying that that's why it's not going to be able to hit native 4K at 60 FPS, is because they're still going to have ray tracing because of how heavily implemented it is into the game. They're not just going to be able to flip a switch and turn it off. They're going to have to sacrifice the resolution to a certain extent. But to me, that's amazing, man. Like, if they can really make that happen, if they can have a high, what looks to be like a 4K resolution, but it's not actually native 4K. This is apparently Sony's secret sauce that we've been talking about with their DLSS-like technology, or their upgraded checkerboard rendering technology. If they can do that while also hitting 60 FPS and still have ray tracing, that would be kind of mind-blowing to me. That would be more than I was expecting. That's crazy. That's awesome. So people are saying 60 FPS mode at 1440p with some sort of DLSS-like resolution technology or something like that. Yeah. So we have Spider-Man Miles Morales, 60 FPS mode. Okay. Ratchet and Clank, 60 FPS mode. And Demon Souls, 60 FPS mode. Is it just me, or is it starting to seem like Sony is kind of making it clear that pretty much all of their exclusive games, maybe not all of them. I mean, I can't imagine it would be all of them. That would be insane, though, because they have a lot of exclusive games. But if all of their games, or most of them, will have a 60 FPS mode. That's perfect, man. That is absolutely perfect to me. I mean, ideally, I know people are going to say, oh, why can't we have everything? Well, we have to be realistic here. The PS5 does not offer unlimited power, nor does any other console on the market. In order to get near unlimited power, you would need to invest thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in the PC gaming. Sarah Holmes, you're saying 4K 60 is standard. 8K checkerboard 30 is the other mode. No, I would not anticipate that, buddy. You're not going to see Ratchet and Clank or any game with that amount of stuff going on screen hitting 8K. Because, and another thing is, even if it did, what is that going to be, like 0.1% of the population is going to be able to experience an 8K game? Nobody has 8K resolutions or screens that can produce 8K resolution. Fearful Tuna, you're saying a lot of Xbox in the chat. Xbots in the chat. I guess they're so insecure about their crap console that they have to try to make PS fans as miserable as them, lol. I mean, you see that on both sides, unfortunately, and, all I can say is this. Let's just try to be positive. Don't force positivity. I'm not about forcing it, but just try to be decent, okay? Like, I get that you want to do the whole console war thing, and I go in hard sometimes as well, but just try to be civil. Just try to set an example, and hopefully people will follow, because the people who are out here trying to trash talk unnecessarily and really just try to get to people, that's all they're trying to do. They're just trolling. So, yeah, you just got to take it for what it is. I am not going to attempt to say your name, buddy, because I don't know what it says, and I feel like reading it would be a mistake. But you're saying 1080p, 60 FPS, bye-bye. Yeah, I mean, you're clearly trying to troll here. Here's the thing, okay? And I want to make this clear to not only you, but anybody else who, is trying to make that argument. Like, oh, haha, Ratchet and Clank is going to be 1080p, 60 FPS. If Ratchet and Clank ran at 1080p, 60 FPS, it's not going to, but if it did, with ray tracing turned off as well, let's go here. If that was the case on the PS5, still looks better than anything Microsoft has shown running on the Xbox Series X. Oh, wait, that's right. They didn't show anything running on the Xbox Series X. So it would, I mean, dude, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why people are like, Ratchet and Clank looks great. Ratchet and Clank is the kind of game where this is where you see like the art style really pops. And it's not just, people are not going to buy Ratchet and Clank and being like, if this game isn't native 4K, so help me God. Like, no one's going to do that, okay? That may be this is where you see that the people who care like that, like they care like, my games better be native 4K or I'm going to snap. People who are like that, they're either already on PC or they're the ones that are going to be buying the Series X. And there's really not many of them because that's not why most people play games. Resolution doesn't make or break your gaming experience. It can enhance it, but it's not an integral part. Crispy, you're saying a $3,000 PC cannot do 4K at 60 with ray tracing in games like Battlefield or Metro at the moment. Folks are twisting themselves into knots to find negatives. I agree, Crispy, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that, I think people come at me and they come to my channel specifically because if you watch my video that I put out yesterday, there were still people coming at me thinking like I'm going out of my way to hate on Xbox. Like anybody who listened to that video yesterday, can you honestly say I was being unfair? Like honestly speaking, can you tell me I was being unfair? Because half of my argument, in fact, the entire point of that video was me highlighting what other prominent Xbox fans in the industry are saying. And I didn't even highlight all of them. I only took a select few because there was a lot more I could have went for. Highlighting the fact that they are also getting frustrated and tired of the way Microsoft is handling the build up to next gen. And I was trying to make the point that fine, if you don't want to hear it from me, if you think that I'm just being a fanboy and you think I'm just trying to make this stuff up and I'm just saying this stuff for the sake of causing issues or trying to hate, don't take it from me. Take it from them, because it's a real thing. And people are just getting into delusional states of minds where it's like they get super insecure. It's like, don't get insecure. It's just gaming. It's plastic boxes, really, at the end of the day. You can be passionate about it, but direct your passion in a healthier way. Look at Microsoft and say, why aren't you doing a lot of the things that Sony is currently doing? Fearful Tuna, you're saying, I'd rather have 1080p with 30 FPS with amazing exclusives than true 4K with 60 FPS with their ace in the hole Halo, the way, considering it looks like that, LOL. I don't disagree with that, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. We're going into next gen. 1080p, 30 FPS is going to be a thing of the past, obviously. But I do understand the point you're trying to make. The point you're trying to make is there's just some games and gaming experiences that it doesn't matter what resolution they're at. It doesn't matter what frame rate they're at. It doesn't matter how good or not good they look. The thing that matters is that it's a great damn game to play. But it also helps the fact that a lot of these exclusive games we're talking about running on PlayStation, they also look great. They're some of the best looking games in the world. So it's like a win-win situation. This is why I just can't understand why some of these people still continue to argue so heavily, where it's like, I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Like, we're seeing great looking games and Sony's doing everything right. I guess if you want to fixate on the fact, I still see Xbox dudes doing this thing where they're like fixating on the fact that, well, the PlayStation 5 isn't really 10 T-flops at all times. It's going to drop, variable clocks, and so you better stop being excited. And I'm just like, what the, who is talking about T-flops anymore, man? Like, that was back in March, and I get it. We had to talk about it then because that was all we had to talk about. We're way beyond that now. We're on the cusp of next gen, man. No one is talking about T-flops. Tyson Webb 509, you're saying $5 just because. Happy Sunday. Thank you so much for that, Tyson Webb, and thank you to everybody who has been donating super chats. Really do appreciate the support. Sir Holmes, you're saying PC is not optimized for gaming. It's a bunch of parts put together. I think Rachel, I know you meant Ratchet, can hit 4K 60. Console is built for gaming. Yeah, that's so important, man, that like so many people don't understand that and they seemingly take it for granted. This is why console is kind of its own thing. This is also why I'm a huge advocate for console gaming, because that is what makes it kind of special in a way. The thing that makes console gaming special is the fact that developers, specifically the developers that Sony owns and Nintendo, and you could say Microsoft as well, but Microsoft doesn't take this approach anymore. But specifically with Sony and their first-party developers, that's what makes it special, is that you're taking a talented development team, you're giving them a single set of specifications to work with. And in doing that, you're allowing and you're enabling this development team, and clearly Sony has some of the most talented developers in the world. Same with Nintendo, but specifically when you look at Sony kind of going into next gen, really trying to push boundaries with what's technically possible and what they can do with overall game design, you're giving them the opportunity to truly try to max things out and code to the metal, as they would put it, right? And try to really enable them to do things that, you know, are just going to push the boundaries. Now, I have to say this, guys, because it's beginning to annoy me a little bit in the chat. I'm going to give a fair warning here, and I'm going to give permission to all of my mods. And if you don't do it, I'll do it myself. I understand that we are a PlayStation-centric channel, and we are all big PlayStation fans, but I'm getting tired of the toxicity from both sides. So if you are somebody who is being toxic, whether it's towards Xbox fans or towards PlayStation fans, I'm going to request that my mods deal with it. And if they don't, I will deal with it. And I will let you know, I don't put people on timeout. I very rarely do. I just ban you from the channel. So that's my warning. And I'm not saying that to, I'm just requesting, let's just try to be a little bit more civil. Okay. I get it. Console wars, the consoles are coming up, and I understand. I'm just going to say that if you have an argument, okay, and if you have a preference, just please try to respectfully convey it. That's all I'm saying for either side. We don't have to act like a bunch of animals. We're beyond that, right? So set the example. Charlie Augustine, you're saying, even if these games aren't true 4K, 1440p upscaled via DLSS 2.0 like technology would be great. Looks close to / better than 4K with less CPU, meaning better FPS. Yeah, that exactly. That's why I call it Sony's secret sauce. Microsoft has their own techniques as well, but with Sony specifically, it just seems like they care about it a little bit more, because they're like, look, rather than having to rely on just having more compute units and more hardware resources, let's find a better way, a smarter way. If you think about it, going that route, I also apologize that the gameplay you're seeing, apparently I'm just idle right now, because somebody didn't ready up. So apologize for that. But that's the smarter way of approaching it. You know what I mean? Just try to be like, look, rather than, risk going all in with compute units and risking our console being way too expensive, and in a way it being, I don't want to say more difficult to develop for, but it takes time. It might be easier for developers if we just give them this technology, especially their first-party developers, to just implement it that way. It's kind of like, it seems to me like this DLSS-like technology, or even if you want to call it an evolution of the checkerboard rendering technology that Sony implements, it brings the saying to mind, work smarter, not harder. That's kind of how I look at it. I'm really getting annoyed with how long this idle screen lasted. Apparently, I didn't go through this footage good enough. I do apologize for that, guys. Hopefully, it starts soon. In the meantime, you can just enjoy these Fall Guys characters. Desmond Smith, you're saying, are you going to be pre-ordering the next Call of Duty game? Yeah, we're actually going to talk a little bit about that as well. We have The Furious, if I'm saying your name correctly, had to let you know that I feel the same about consoles, designing games specifically for bespoke tech, special features like 3D audio, the monstrous SSD, new controller features. It's so exciting, man. I agree. And this is the thing that I really genuinely appreciate about Sony's approach to next gen. People think that I am just being a fanboy and I'm just blowing smoke when I say this, but I'm really not. Like, I really do think that Sony is taking truly not only a more productive approach, but the truly exciting approach where they're actually trying to do some different things, right? Like and they might not work out the way we want them to, but the fact that they're trying, you got to give them credit for that. Cooler Ice Cube, you're saying you plan on pre-ordering the PS5. Yes, we had a whole conversation about that earlier. I do plan on pre-ordering a PS5. Guys, I do apologize. I thought I went through all this footage and I was specifically looking if there were any moments where I was idle. It seems like I had this issue each week. You would think that when I decide to record content, I wouldn't record content where I'm idle. I do apologize. So there we go. All right. So before we move on, I want to ask you guys, do me a big favor, hit the like button. We're already over 800 likes, which is absolutely fantastic. So thank you guys so much for showing your support. Without you guys, this podcast wouldn't really be a podcast. It wouldn't be anything. And you guys show your support each week. You help grow the content, the channel, and the podcast. So thank you so much. Hit that like button. Let's see if we can get to 900 likes, possibly even to 1,000 likes before the podcast ends. And so I'm going to take another sip of my tea here, and we're going to talk more about some PlayStation stuff, some interesting stuff. That video footage was unacceptable. MVG unsubscribed. No, that's what I was afraid of. Tommy Ramirez, you're saying, hey MVG, I hope you're doing great and hope you stay safe. Thank you so much, buddy. I am doing pretty good, and same to you as well as everybody else listening to this. I hope you guys are all doing well. Taking care of yourselves, staying safe. It's been a crazy year. Hopefully things will start to tone down a little bit. I mean, at this point, I'm just looking forward to the end of the year in 2021, right? And thank you, AWMCLIN or AWMacklin1, for becoming a member. Welcome aboard. Look forward to your exclusive perks. I appreciate your support. That goes for all of my members. What kind of tea am I drinking? I don't know, but it tastes really good. I forget what kind of tea it is. I think it's called Throat Coat or something like that. It has a bunch of stuff in it that's supposed to be good for your throat, because a lot of times when I do these podcasts, my voice starts to give out and throat gets hoarse and stuff. So it does help. It definitely helps more than coffee. Coffee helps with the insane energy levels. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I should just mix the tea and coffee. I don't know. Nah, I wouldn't do that. Anyway, we're going to move right along here. And what I want to talk about is the PlayStation 5 event briefly, only because there's really not too much I have to say, but there is a lot of conversation going on. One of the things I did write down here, and I saw this going around today, is that apparently people are catching wind of the fact that Sony has added new unlisted videos to the Future of Gaming playlists, not just on one of their YouTube channels, but across all of their PlayStation YouTube channels. So this is very interesting because anytime you see this playlist updated, it does in fact have something to do, it does have something to do with the PlayStation 5. And so a lot of people are now thinking that this may have to either do with pre-orders, or specifically it has to do with the upcoming event. And the speculation and the rumor is that the next proper PS5 event is going to be on September 9th. Now, I want to bring this up. It's actually on my YouTube channel. I'm going to bring it up here for myself so I can refer to it, because I did think it was pretty interesting. I put out a poll where I asked you guys to vote. I said, I'm curious to see what everyone thinks. Do you think that Sony will have a second big event for the PS5, or will it be scattered info through like blog posts, videos, etc., leading up to launch? Now, an overwhelming majority of you, there was about 13,000 votes, which I think is kind of a lot. And I thought that it was a very relevant question, since the majority of you are PlayStation fans and plan to pick up a PS5. 82% of you said that you are expecting a second big event. 18% said blog posts / videos. And to me, this is kind of representative of how the general gaming community as a whole, I think, how they feel and what they're expecting, honestly. I think the general expectation is another proper event, not a small event either. Something that's pretty packed full of information that could be potentially an hour long. And I have to say, with how quiet Sony has been, that seems like the more likely thing. And I don't want to get my hopes too high, because let's be honest here, guys. Let's be honest. If Sony doesn't have a new event, I think people are going to be disappointed. That's not to say that what Sony has showed so far isn't good enough, because I think it is more than enough. And I think, being fair and looking at it from a rational point of view, I think we can all agree that what Sony has done, if they wanted to, if that's all they wanted to do, and maybe just show some more Spider-Man gameplay, talk a little bit about the teardown, and maybe a little bit more about backwards compatibility kind of scattered. If that's all they wanted to do, I think we can all agree, and maybe talk about Demon Souls as well. They could get away with that, and that would still be more than enough. But I get this feeling, and I feel like everybody else has this similar feeling where it's like you can kind of just feel like there's a lot more that Sony wants to do. Like, basically what I'm trying to say is if this was a boxing match, right? Or like a UFC fight, Microsoft, Sony is clearly dominating the fight and they're very clearly going to be the winner. But everybody at this point is just waiting like to know, is there going to be like, is it just going to end with Microsoft just kind of falling back and just giving out? And that's how the fight's going to end? Or is one last big haymaker coming from Sony, to really just kind of put the exclamation point at the end of the, Oyakarumi, you're saying you missed my super chat, bro. All right, give me 1 sec. Let me see if I can check it out here. Oyakarumi. Oh, I think you said to have unbelievable power, you have to be He-Man. Okay. Sorry about that, Oyakarumi. Sometimes I do miss these super chats, but thank you for reminding me for that. I apologize. I also apologize in advance to anybody else if I miss any of your super chats, but that's, I think, the big question is like, does Sony have like one last big haymaker? And if they do, how big is it really going to be? So the rumor is September 9th. The reason why it's September 9th is, well, because, we're going into September. And let's be honest, this is the last big chance that Sony realistically has to truly build that momentum. Don't get me wrong. Sony's still going to have more to say in October. And that's when you're going to start to see the marketing really ramp up. But you're talking about like, this is the last chance for them to really just kind of have that big extra hype moment that in a big way. Because if they push it to October, people are going to be more fixated on the fact that why the hell are you waiting till October? They're going to be more fixated on that than, frankly, anything Sony has to announce. To where September, I think we can all agree that September is as far back as Sony and Microsoft can push it. The thing is, I don't think Microsoft has another big event. I really don't. This is where I think that Microsoft might be a little bit nervous. I think they do have some other things to announce. I think for Microsoft, in their mind, their big ace in the hole that they have left is the Series S model. And I'm just going to be real. I don't think that's going to do a damn thing in the world to help them at this point. I mean, it will ensure that they sell more consoles than they would if it was just the Series X. For sure. But if Sony really does have a second event planned and it's relatively big, and more importantly, if they have new game announcements that we haven't heard about yet, and it's not just more of what we've seen, Microsoft is in big. I'm trying not to swear on the podcast. I'm trying to be a little bit more classy, but they're in big fucking trouble. I'll tell you, if Sony really does have another full blown event and Microsoft doesn't, Xbox as a brand is in trouble, at least as a brand associated with a console. I want to make that clear. But they're in trouble. They really are at this point. Joshua, you're saying, MBG, what's your max budget for a PS5 bundle? I don't know, man. I don't know. Definitely more than 500. I don't know. I won't know until I get there. It depends. I will tell you, though, when I do buy the PS5, I'm pre-ordering everything. I'm pre-ordering the games, all the games. I'm pre-ordering all the peripherals, pre-ordering the console, obviously. With my luck, I'll get all the games, all the peripherals, but I still won't get the console somehow. But yeah, I plan to buy everything. But I'm serious. Like Xbox, I see somebody saying Xbox is already in big trouble. Yeah, and that's the thing is, it's like, at this point, Microsoft needs to try, in my opinion, to focus on mitigating the damage that's done. They need to get a win. They need a win. That's what Microsoft needs at this point. If they announce the Initiatives new game, I think that could be a win. But you know why it would also kind of be a loss? Because it's like, oh, guys, check this out. We did save one big game announcement, and they show maybe like a CGI. And that's the thing. It would probably be a CGI trailer of the Initiatives game, their quadruple A studio, right? Because that's what they have to call it, a quadruple A studio. They show this game, and it's like, wow, this looks exciting. But then you instantly realize that this announcement is completely deflated because this game isn't going to be coming out for probably another 2 to 3 years. Just like a lot of the stuff that they showed at their July 23rd event. And that's where I think Microsoft, they are already in trouble, and it's only going to get worse. If Sony announced Spider-Man and Ratchet and Clank as 2 launch window games. And that's not even counting Godfall. That's also not even counting some of the smaller games we might get, such as Bug Snacks, or Kenna, Bridge of Spirits, right? If that's the name of the game. That's a lot of content to have like at launch or around within like the first. That's not even talking about third-party games either. That's a lot of content. And you throw in Call of Duty, you throw in Cyberpunk, you throw in Watch Dogs, you throw in Assassin's Creed. It's like, even games that are coming out now that will be enhanced like Avengers, right? That's a lot of content that Sony's going to have. If they then say, oh, by the way, Demon's Souls is also a launch window title. By the way, Gran Turismo 7 is also a launch window title. Dude, Microsoft is done. Stick a fork in it. Because the Xbox console's done at that point. I'm sorry, it is. I don't know, because nobody's going to care anymore. Because Microsoft has nothing. Like, they have the medium, sure, but that's coming to PS5. It's scary for them, man. The Furious, you're saying, funny thing is with the Series S is they need to reveal the T-flops aren't everything. Only going to be 4 T-flops, but they need to portray it as powerful still. Great point. I actually am glad you brought that up because that is something I've been wanting to riff on for quite some time. Kyle, you're saying, do you think Capcom clearly not doing a Village update this month like they said, meaning that we were going to get a PS event possible pushed forward? Yeah, I mean, you have to understand the rumor was that the event was going to be this month, but Sony pushed it back. So we were also hearing there was supposed to be a Resident Evil Village update as well. And we know that the marketing is with Sony. So yeah, I think it's safe to say we'll see it at the event. But to speak about the Series S for a moment, Tommy Ramirez is saying, hope some of this money gets you that PS5. Thank you so much for that, buddy. Yeah, make no mistake about it. A big reason I will hopefully be able to get hopefully the full PS5 experience is thanks to you guys for sure. So thank you so much for that. And obviously that's going to help power the channel in many ways. You know what I'm really interested in is to see the streaming capabilities of the PS5. And I hope they're greatly improved over the PS4 because if they are, if I can stream at 1080p 60 or maybe even 4K, although I don't know if 4K is realistic, but 1080p 60 or even 1440p 60 or something on the PS5, I'll probably be streaming games a lot more. Because I won't hear my, the PS5 fan in the background like with the PS4 Pro, and I might even get a camera. Who knows? Maybe I'll even go on camera for my streams with the PS camera. Who knows? Anything's possible. But and yeah, I see a lot of people saying you like the channel, you like the content. Thank you guys so much. I do see what you're saying. I just can't respond to all of it, but I do see it and I do appreciate it. So you need fast internet for that, MBG. Yeah, I don't know about 4K streaming, but the Series S. That is, to me, this is the funniest thing about the predicament. Like, this is where you realize Microsoft, I've been saying this, they need a new marketing team. They've needed a new marketing team for a long time. When Microsoft made the decision that they were going to make a Series S model console, okay, which is fine. I don't think there might be a problem with it. We have yet to see. I want to believe that it won't negatively impact game development for their consoles or for next-gen third-party games in general, but it might. But that is yet to be seen. We'll find out about that in the future. When they decided to do that, they should have immediately decided we're also not going to, make T-flops a marketing thing anymore. Because what you said is completely right. One of the last super chats I saw, now their own marketing is about to go against them. They're about to take the marketing that they created and make it a problem for themselves. It should have been a problem for the competition. They're literally about to make it a problem for themselves because they're going to try and come out here and they're going to try to convey that this is also a next-gen console and it's perfectly capable. So not only are they simultaneously going to remove and in their own way just deconstruct the T-flop argument, they're going to validate PlayStation in the process, which is like, if there was ever a facepalm moment, that's it right there. Like, you're validating your competition after you tried to convince everybody that what they're doing with the PS5 and the lower T-flops is not valid. You're validating it yourself. Then you're also going to have to climb the uphill battle where you're going to have to convince people that this console isn't a total piece of junk. And I'm not saying it is, but that's how people are going to perceive it the second they find out 4 T-flops. What? Me and you here right now on the podcast, me and you may understand that this console okay, is certainly more powerful, significantly more powerful, the Series S model that is, than the One X console, even at lower T-flops, because it's a completely new architecture. It will have an SSD. It's going to have a completely new CPU that is in line with the CPU inside of the Series X, and it will have a more powerful GPU. The entire console will, in general, be more powerful significantly than the One X. But because of their own marketing with T-flops, people are going to demand to know how many damn T-flops is this console. And Microsoft's, it's going to have to, if Microsoft doesn't admit it themselves, then we're going to see places like Digital Foundry and other analysis outlets let us know this is basically how many T-flops it is. And if it's like 4 or around that area, dude, why do you think Microsoft discontinued the One X, man? Because people are going to be like, whoa, 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 wait a second. You're telling me this console's less powerful than the One X? And most people, when they're told, no, it's not. Like, people like me and you, we get it. Like, it's new architecture. It's not anywhere near the same as the Xbox One or One X. But the average consumer, the one that this console is meant to appeal to most, isn't going to know that. And the consumer who has been paying attention to the T-flop marketing, if they start to ask questions, I don't know, man. It just seems like Microsoft is just creating unnecessarily uphill battles for themselves. Like they're just doing things in a way where it's like, what? Why? Like, why are you doing this? Like, you're negating your own marketing tactic. You're validating your competition, and in the name of what? Trying to sell a cheaper console? I don't know, man. The Caped Crusader, you're saying Don Matrick is the true Xbox killer. Yeah, I to be honest, I think it's a combination of Don Matrick and Phil Spencer. I think what a lot of people don't realize is that Phil Spencer was in charge of Xbox's first-party portfolio during the time of Don Matrick's reign. I think most people don't know that. So a lot of the games we saw, Phil Spencer was responsible for, which was great. But it just seemed like Phil Spencer at some point when he took over the Xbox division and the direction that Microsoft as a company started to go in, he just decided that, let's focus on xCloud, let's focus on Game Pass, services, and cloud. That is what Microsoft is as a company. That's their bread and butter at this point. Yeah, there's still Windows and there's PC, but services and cloud. That's the bread and butter of Microsoft as a company. And so Phil Spencer, and I have to say, I can't blame him fully for this. He just decided at some point, we're just going to do that with our gaming division because it falls in line with the overarching theme that is Microsoft. And it falls in line with what the CEO would want. And I can't blame him. He's just playing it safe, or as safe as he can. But it just sucks because it's like, to know that Phil Spencer and Don Matrick were responsible for a lot of the great, because there were some great games that the Xbox One had at the beginning of its life, man. That's why I bought it. Regardless of the Kinect, regardless of all the weird policies and stuff and the backpedaling, Rise Son of Rome is one that sticks out. Sunset Overdrive was a good game. They even had Dead Rising 3 there, and Titanfall. Like, they had games, and it's just like at some point, because the console wasn't selling, and the game, it's the damage was so great that they did with the marketing of the Xbox One and the messaging. The damage was so great that no amount of great games was going to save them from their competitor just dominating them. And that's what's crazy. Is like, if you need to know just how much damage was done during that Xbox One reveal, it's the fact that they did actually have some great games, but those games simply weren't enough to sway people from being like, I'm getting a PlayStation because I'm not dealing with your crap. Like, that's pretty much what the vast majority of gamers said, Pro Skills X, you're saying their true goal is to become Netflix. They want to kill the console market because they can't win. This will be the last Xbox console. I agree. That's why they're forging their own path. If they can become the Netflix of gaming, they do believe that the Netflix of gaming will be more successful than a console ever could. And frankly, I hope Sony proves them wrong. That's my hope. Joshua Reese, MBG, when did you become a pro Sony dude and why? Come on, Josh. Come on, man. You got to be. I know that has to be a troll. Like, have you not been following the channel? Are you telling me this is the first time you've checked my channel in like 2 years? I will recommend you go back and go through my content and you will see the transition. You'll see why. I've explained it in depth. There's a lot of entertaining content there as well. So I'm not going to get into that here, but yeah, guys, I just, I got a little bit deviated here because I wasn't planning on talking about the Series S, but that is a really great point that that person did bring up. And so we're going to move on to the next topic because we are approaching the 2-hour mark soon, and I want to try to keep this a little bit shorter. So I don't know if this is true or not. I've heard some people say recently that apparently if you go over the 2-hour mark with your streams on YouTube, YouTube gets all weird. Because I've seen a lot of people, as I said in the beginning of the stream, complaining that my podcast is not showing up in their subscription feed. They have to actually manually go search for it on my channel. I've had some people tell me that it shows up like days later for some reason. So I did hear somebody mention recently that apparently if you go over 2 hours, like YouTube gets all kind of weird or something. I hope that's not true because that's really dumb if true. I feel like that's not true though. Charlie, you're saying you'd think it'd be worth it for Xbox to revive Ninja Gaiden as an answer to God of War, but make it more akin to Devil May Cry 5 in terms of combat. I agree. I think that there's a lot of stuff that Microsoft should do with some of their older IP and, things that the previous generations of Xbox have been known for outside of Halo, Gears, and Forza. But I just don't know that they're going to do that. Frankly, they need more new IP more than anything. Che, if I'm saying your name correctly, you're saying 12 months of gold for $60 is gone. Instead, buying 3 months of $25 made Xbox Gold $8 more expensive. Add those $8 to Game Pass, and it's $23 a month. Yeah, I don't know, man. Everybody has been anticipating that apparently Microsoft was gearing up to have some massive mic drop moment with the removal of the Xbox Live Gold paywall. But that hasn't happened, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think their spokespeople made it clear that Xbox Live isn't really going anywhere. I mean, maybe that's an announcement they were saving for August. Frankly, I feel like it would be great for them because they need a big win like that, like I said, but I don't think that's going to happen. Spacebar, you're saying even in streaming, exclusive content is king, and Netflix just started becoming profitable 2 years ago. They need more bigger studios. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that Microsoft or the Xbox brand itself, putting the console aside, unfortunately, I hate to have to say that, but that's just the situation we're in. The Xbox brand itself, and this does also apply to PlayStation's brand as well as Nintendo's. It all comes down to the content, and Microsoft just isn't there yet. They're not on the same level. They do need, I think, to have some of the bigger games. They do need to have more impressive titles. They need to have games that just have more appeal in general. And, I'm sorry to say, but things like Grounded, things like Bleeding Edge, things like Battletoads, I just don't think that's going to do it. Nothing against Microsoft Flight Simulator, but even then it's like, it's a very niche, however you say it, type of title. So they need big games that are not Halo, Gears, and Forza. They really do. And they may be coming, but they're apparently years away. Like Avowed, that has the potential to be the next big hit for Xbox, but when's that coming out? It's great to be excited about that, but how excited can you really be if it's like 3 years away? So we're going to move on to the next topic here, guys. Do me a big favor. Hit that like button. We are just on the cusp of hitting 1,000 likes. If we can hit 1,000 likes, let's see if we can possibly even get to 1,100 likes. You liking the podcast helps it out tremendously. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. And with that, it allows the algorithm to disperse this podcast to other people who are not aware of it so we can grow the community and grow the podcast here. So thank you so much for that. I want to talk briefly about Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Not too much because we've talked a lot about it, but yeah, I think this was another huge moment for Sony this week where when they, when Activision revealed the first trailer for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which looks awesome in my opinion. I'm actually very excited for it. It did confirm that what we were seeing was running on a PlayStation 5. So it's like, it's just continually adding salt to the wound here for Microsoft and rubbing it in, where it's like we're just seeing more and more gameplay running on the PS5, even with one of Sony's partners, that being the partnership they have or the deal they have with Godfall, even they showed their gameplay running on at the very least a PS5 dev kit, right? Not a PC. So I think that was a big win for Sony. Oyakarumi, you're saying with great power comes great responsibility, or in Sony's case, whatever, because PlayStation is kicking Xbox booty. Yeah, kicking Xbox Matt booty. Yeah, that was a terrible joke. That wasn't even a joke, but booty, Matt booty, funny name, Xbox booty. Yeah. Anyway, Jesus, you can tell I've been talking for too long when I start to make weird jokes like that. But geez, man, how cringe. But yeah, it's been confirmed that yeah, face palm, right? Yeah. Hello to anybody who's just joining the stream now, by the way. Thank you. But Call of Duty confirmed to be 4K 60 FPS. It can go up to 120 frames per second on the PS5. And it's sad because I see some Xbox dudes where when they choose to talk about this, the only thing they can fix it on is, yeah, well, all these people who are expecting it to be at 4K 120 FPS with ray tracing, you got another thing coming. Like, why can't you just celebrate the fact that we're getting a AAA, possibly the biggest AAA third-party exclusive game that's going to run at 120 FPS on both consoles? Like, I've been, I heard some people say that it's going to be 1080p 120 FPS. Maybe. I mean, let's be honest, guys. AAA game running at 120 FPS on these new consoles, I don't expect 4K. I mean, 100% I do not expect native 4K. However, if we get something that's higher than 1080p but less than 4K, I think that that's a win. If it can be 1440p or even 1800p or even just, some type of upscaled or checkerboard rendered 4K technique. And this is where, some people are also saying that, well, it's going to be a higher resolution on the Series X. And it's like, no one's going to care. Not only are they not going to care, but no one's going to notice. And that like, I don't know. I don't know why Xbox dudes don't understand that, like, no one's going to notice if there is a checkerboard rendered image on the PlayStation 5, checkerboarded 4K versus a native 4K on the Series X. Like, no one is going to notice. You know who's going to notice? Digital Foundry's going to notice. The people who are doing their tech analysis videos. And I'm not saying, that's not me damage controlling. That's just the brutal truth. No one noticed barely ever with the PS4 Pro and the One X. Granted, occasionally you'd have a game like Red Dead 2, but the gap there was much more significant power-wise than what you're seeing now with the PS5 and Series X. The law of diminishing returns. It's a real thing. Negligible will be the results or the difference between these two consoles. In my humble opinion, I could be wrong. But what I've seen, I mean, dude, that I'm mentioning this because the Call of Duty running, and some people will say, well, it's because Call of Duty is being marketed with the PlayStation 5, so clearly it's going to look really good or better. But even then, like, that's Sony's being smart. They're taking the biggest AAA third-party game and making sure it looks and runs best on their console potentially. What's wrong with that? That's smart, So Call of Duty looked really good in my opinion. They're going to be utilizing real-time ray tracing on the new consoles. They're going to be taking advantage of the SSDs, but most importantly, and this was the thing that really stood out to me, they're going to be taking advantage of the 3D audio in both consoles, but specifically with Sony, they will be utilizing the haptic feedback and the triggers, I forget what the trigger, I don't know why I'm forgetting, but the tension in the triggers or whatever. They're going to be utilizing these DualSense features for their game, and that's great. That's a great sign because that means you're going to potentially see more and more developers do that. Third-party developers. Spacebar, you're saying no one cares about power. The PS2, the Wii are the weakest consoles of their respective generations and sold the most units. Exactly, man. Like, very few people care. And I know that maybe you could argue a lot of the people involved in this conversation, care, but still, I haven't seen it. Look, you can't, it's not acceptable in my opinion for any Xbox fans to use the power argument at this point. It's not acceptable because, like, until Microsoft shows it themselves, you should probably just stop talking about it because you're just making yourselves look worse and worse each day. I really do believe that because it's like, Sony's out here showing stuff left, right, up, down, and center, and Microsoft hasn't shown anything. And what they did show was running on PC, and it looked abysmal, that being Halo Infinite. And it didn't feature ray tracing on top of all that. So please stop. Please stop, okay? If you want to be excited about the spec sheets, be excited about the spec sheets. Just admit and realize that what you see on the spec sheets, what you see in two compared little charts of specifications next to each other, does not translate to what your gaming experience is going to be like at the end of the day. The Caped Crusader, you're saying, to be honest, haven't played COD since Black Ops 1. COD got too repetitive for me. Modern Warfare 2 was the GOAT online shooter, though. Dude, I loved Black Ops 1. That's why I'm very excited for this. I loved Black Ops 1. It was actually, I think, my favorite Call of Duty. I know it was my favorite story in the Call of Duty series, any story they ever did. So to know that this is a continuation of that. The only thing that concerns me is we heard Frank Woods. Apparently it's a new voice actor, and it sounds like they're trying really hard to sound similar to the original Frank Woods voice actor. And he said like one line, and it sounded weird to me. I was like, that sounds like somebody who's not the voice actor of Frank Woods trying really, really hard to sound just like the voice actor of Frank Woods. It was really weird. Frankly, I would have loved if they just could have got the original voice actor back, because nostalgia. All right. What else was I going to say about Call of Duty? Oh yeah, one other thing I did want to mention about Call of Duty is, and this does feed into the whole rumor of the PlayStation 5 event date, where, September 9th is the full-blown multiplayer reveal for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And it's been speculated because of that, and on top of what other people are saying, that it's very clear at this point that September 9th is the date of the next event. And, it just makes sense. The fact, to think that Call of Duty will be part of the next event. But here's something else that people are not considering. September 9th might not be the event. Do you want to know why? And look, I think it's going to be September 9th. I'm just saying we have to consider other possibilities, because I know how desperate we all are to know when Sony's going to have that next event. People need to realize that just because September 9th is when Activision is planning to reveal the multiplayer for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, you also have to understand they still have to reveal zombies. And they're going to be two separate reveals. So it very well could be that they're just planning to reveal the multiplayer on their own that day, right? September 9th. And the zombies reveal is the reveal that's set for the date of the PS5 event. And I think this is something that a lot of people haven't considered, where it's like, yeah, you would think that, multiplayer September 9th, so September 9th is going to be the date. Something else that also is worth pointing out, I did mention this in a previous video, but I do believe the September 9th date as well, also because it's the 25th anniversary in the US anyway, for the release of the PS1 in the West. It's the 25th anniversary, so that would be a good date. But one last thing I want to mention as well is the whole zombies thing. Listen, we've been hearing a lot of rumors and a lot of reports that Sony has been going out of their way to pay a lot of money for timed exclusivity, specifically with third-party content. Now, considering their partnership with Activision, we know we're getting the beta early, but can we expect more than that? If I'm not mistaken, with Modern Warfare, do you guys remember, and I think people forgot about this, I think they forgot about it, there was the survival mode. And somebody please correct me if I'm mistaken, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct. The survival mode, which is it's something where it's wave-based, and it was part of the Spec Ops in Modern Warfare 3. Sony paid to have that exclusive, not for a month, for a year. And at the time, people were freaking out because they're like, this is the worst, right? And it is a little, it's aggressive, but it's still exclusive to PlayStation's version of Modern Warfare. I'm telling you right now, I don't want to say this like I know, because I don't, so don't take it that way, but I'm very, very confident that when the zombies mode is announced, there will be, I'm not saying the entire zombies mode will be exclusive, but don't be surprised if you see remastered maps or specific maps or even a specific zombies game mode as a timed exclusive for 1 year. Yes, not for a month, for 1 year on the PlayStation version of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Do not be surprised. And if Sony really wanted to go crazy and they were willing to spend that amount of money, maybe you could even see Zombies itself be exclusive for like a month or 6 months or something like that. The entire Zombies experience. Keep in mind, like, Sony has a very close relationship and partnership with Activision. So, yeah. Brett Williams, you're saying going to the best deal in gaming argument. PlayStation Plus has over 800 games and Game Pass only has 400. Why, in your opinion, is that narrative still pushed? I think it's pushed because Microsoft pushes it. I think when you look at the marketing between Game Pass and PlayStation Now, they're polar opposites. For Sony, it's very clear PlayStation Now is something extra. Something that they could, in the long run, potentially, if need be, fall back on. Something they can make money off of, and something that's just there for those who care about it. They're focused on marketing their console and their exclusives on that console. Microsoft, all their marketing is, they're just marketing Game Pass. Even Gamescom. Gamescom was a great opportunity for them to do something big with the Xbox Series X console. They decided to market Game Pass once again. So that's why that's what people say. Because it's reinforcement. It's psychological reinforcement. And their marketing in that sense is working because it's like, hey, best deal in gaming. Say it enough times, put it in front of people's faces enough times, and before we know it, they're going to start reciting it as well. But I do agree, it is interesting that not enough people talk, and I'm guilty of this myself, that not enough people talk about the fact that PlayStation Now has more games. I actually checked it out recently. I didn't subscribe to it, but I was just looking at their library, and I'm like, wow, like they got a lot here. And the number one thing that people don't talk about is the fact that a lot of these games you can actually download to your console, and you don't have to stream them all, And I think that that's just a bad reputation that Sony has with PlayStation Now, where it's like everybody assumes it's just pure streaming. iSiler18, you're saying, my Willem Dafoe smile is on standby if Zombies is a timed exclusive. Yeah. I think there's going to be some type of timed exclusivity with Call of Duty. But let me see here. Let me see what other topics I got, because I do have others. All right. Okay, we have a report that confirms both consoles are going to be launching in November, which we obviously know that. But apparently the Xbox Series X is going to be launching in the first week of November. To me, this has kind of been known already. Ever since that controller leaked out and said do not open until November 5th, I knew, like, yep, Microsoft's getting out ahead. Not that it's going to matter, but they are. They need that, honestly. It would be even worse for them if they came out after the PS5. But the PlayStation 5 is apparently set to come out mid-November. And this has caused a little bit, not of an argument, but people trying to figure out, like, wait, the 13th or the 20th? Because they're both Fridays, and it's going to have to be one of those Fridays. Something that is very important and worth noting is that where this is coming from, the source VGC, where they seem pretty reliable, they're saying that Sony has a huge marketing budget ready to go, or spending. They're going to be spending a ton of money on marketing starting of the week of the 13th. So the question then becomes, what does this say about the release? Like, does it make more sense that Sony would spend that marketing once the console releases? Like, as it's out, letting everybody know that it's here, it's launched? Or does it make more sense to the build-up of the console? I only say this because, I think in a way it makes more sense that the marketing would actually be kicked off once the console launches, because there's obviously going to be marketing and build up to the launch of the console. But if you think about it, they're going to have events and blog posts and all that stuff and teardowns, and that, in a way, like, that is the marketing. Like, they don't have to spend, they are spending money on it, but that's different from the type of marketing we're talking about, when it comes to advertising in a bigger way, at least in my opinion. So I guess for me, I'm just saying, like, the 13th seems more likely for a couple of reasons. If Sony knows, and surely they know, if Sony knows that Microsoft is planning to release the Series X in the first week of November, I would have to imagine they would try their best to close that gap and not be releasing 2 weeks later. it would be in their best interest to release 1 week later, right? So I don't know. I mean, the whole marketing thing is what's throwing me off because it does make sense. Well, here's another thing too, as well. You got to think in that week period between the 13th and the 20th, how many big third-party games are launching? There's a lot. You're talking about Cyberpunk, Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed, and if Sony did release the PS5 before, then you're also talking about Spider-Man. So wouldn't it make more sense for Sony to want to have their console out, when those games are launching so that the attach rate is as high as it could possibly be? To me, that makes sense. I think the 20th could be likely as well, but to me, I just feel like, especially when you hear mid-November, what sounds more mid-November to you? The 13th or the 20th? To me, the 13th is closer to the middle of the month. The middle of the month would be the 15th. To me, the 13th is closer to the 15th. So, I don't know, guys. That's what I'm assuming. So, I wouldn't be shocked, though, if it was the 20th. So, let me know in the chat. What do you think? Are you expecting November 13th or November 20th? Oh, Yakarumi, you're saying, how nostalgic would it be if the PlayStation 5 startup screen is like the PS1? That would be nice. Yeah, that would be sick. I think it'll be something... I think we did see it, actually. They showed it a little bit. 20th, 13th. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to see. I think for sure, though, okay, now I'm seeing more 13ths. 11th. I don't know about that. I mean, there is a chance Sony doesn't have to launch their console on a Friday. They don't have to launch it on a Friday. They could do it throughout the week, but I just don't think that's happened before. I don't think that that's likely at all. But yeah, all right. So it seems here that I'm certainly not going to be able to get to all of my topics, unfortunately. I'm actually starting to get a really bad headache for some reason, and I'm extremely hungry, and I think that might be why I'm getting a headache. But I had a whole nother section written out that was just dedicated to Xbox. And what I might do is I'll maybe save it for a separate video. If not, we'll talk about it next week during the stream. I'll save these topics. But yeah, I think I pretty much talked about everything I could talk about. I just kind of wanted to keep this PlayStation podcast centered more around PlayStation. I've seen a lot of people saying that they're like, people are just assuming that, I don't know why I'm talking like this because it doesn't make any sense, but people assume that like I talk about Xbox more than I talk about PlayStation, or they try to make it sound like I talk more about Xbox than I do about PlayStation. And it frustrates me because I make some of these discussion videos and even some of these rant videos, and especially during the podcast, that are centered around Xbox. But that's because like I've always told people, like, it's not that I don't care about Xbox. In fact, I've never said that. I said the opposite. I mean, I don't care about a lot of what they're doing in the sense that it doesn't appeal to me. It's not something that I want to, it's not something I want to actively pursue in like, hey, I want to go buy an Xbox in these games. I care because I want to see them, I want to see them do better. I want to see the competition. But yeah, so what I'm going to do before ending, you can eat while streaming. I don't mind. Yeah, I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. I just feel like, I'm just going to, yeah. So guys, about that PS5, like just chewing into the mic, I feel like that's extremely rude. Brandon, you're saying, I just want Gravity Rush 3, man. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say they want the game. So what I'm going to do before ending the stream is I want to do a Q&A with the chat for a little bit. I know you guys like doing that, so I'm going to enable slow mode. And if you guys have any questions you want to ask me, I cannot answer all of them, obviously. So let's just do a quick Q&A before we end this. Yo, MBG, SOCOM or Killzone, Resistance, Sly Cooper, Jack, and Dexter PS5 exclusive? I'm going to say SOCOM. I hope to see SOCOM. I would love to see SOCOM. Oh, yeah, here we go. MBG, From Bedrooms to Billions, the PlayStation Revolution documentary on September 7th. Yeah, at Zebrick for the heads up. Yeah, guys, check that out. There's like a big documentary that's going to feature Mark Cerny and Hideo Kojima. Apparently, it's coming out on September 7th. It will be out on Blu-ray and DVD, I believe, as well. So I do want to check that out for sure. Silent Hill PS5, how will it play? If it's a real thing, I think it'll play really good. When do I think the next event is? Let's just say September 9th. That's what everybody else is saying. What's your least favorite title that you've seen for the PS5? I don't know. Honestly. I'd have to think about that. MBG, are you going to rank the major PS4 exclusives now that they're all out? Maybe. I feel bad because I haven't played every single exclusive, but I would probably rank the ones I played, so I might consider doing that. MVG, you missed that guy today who's always asking for your feet pics. Hey, I appreciate the dude because he gives me super chats and that always helps me out. But yeah, I don't know, the whole feet thing. Josh Zier saying, in yet another gut punch in 2020, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, Wakanda forever. I hate this here. Yeah, that was insane. It's always sad to see, it's sad to see anybody pass away young, but especially when you see people that have such a profound impact on other people's lives, and they just don't seem like the likely individuals who are going to lose their lives early, and it happens, and it can happen to anybody, and it's always sad. So yeah, that was really sad to see. Very unfortunate. Very sad for his family. What's your favorite Metal Gear game? I think I don't know, man. I loved 4 just because it was so, I don't know. It was like just so fan servicey, but I think 3 is my favorite. I think Metal Gear Solid 3 is my favorite. How do you feel about Bloodborne 2? Will it be the GOAT? If Bloodborne 2 exists, yes, I think it will be the GOAT. MVG, tell people that COD said 4K 120 hertz, not frames, hertz, and frames are very different. Please explain the difference to your people. To be honest, I don't know the difference. So maybe you can let me know, but maybe I guess maybe that is important. So you can let me know about that. With Sony releasing games on PC, do you think it will discourage people from buying the PS5? I think it would only discourage people from doing so if they release day and date. Did you see the Xbox fans are already disappointed by the medium? It looks garbo. I did see a little bit of it. It didn't look like garbage. I will admit though, like you can tell it's not AAA. It doesn't look bad, but definitely not the type of game you'd expect to see launching alongside the world's most powerful console or Xbox's most powerful console. What do you think about DRM and not truly owning digital or physical games on PlayStation? I think as long as they give the option, it's fine. I'll be buying the disc version of the PS5 and buying physical games when I can. Do you think Horizon Forbidden West will be the most beautiful game in the world? I think it will be, yeah. Would you like to see PUBG on the PS5 at 60 FPS? I would. I've already decided if this game doesn't get a PS5 upgrade, I'm never playing it again. I assume it will be since they're giving it out for PS Plus. Hey, MBG, thanks for the upload. No problem, buddy. Do you think Sony will buy WB Games? No, I don't. God of War info, MBG. I have no info for you, unfortunately. Brett Williams, feet pics or we riot? Oh, unfortunately, you're going to have to riot. Can the PS5 run all PS4 games? Yes, it can. When is the face reveal? I can't guarantee when the face reveal is, but if it's going to happen, it will most likely happen at 100K. Or maybe during the PS5 unboxing. Whatever comes first. Are you excited for the new Batman movie? I am. I thought it looked good. The trailer looked good. Do you think Sony should bring PS4 games to PS Now instead of porting to PC? Yeah, you think they would do that first, right? That's kind of bizarre. Do you think PS5 will outsell the PS2 over the years? I don't think so, honestly. The PS2 just seems like it's too far out there. Although we could see a potential PlayStation domination like we haven't seen since the PS2 era with the way Xbox is going right now. Does that mean it would sell more? I don't know. Can we expect a Battlefield 6 reveal? No. You're not going to see a Battlefield 6 reveal until sometime in 2021. Do you think Uncharted 5 is in development? P.S. Your videos are entertaining. Well, thank you. I think it's possible, yeah. I feel like Uncharted's too big of a franchise for Sony to just lay to rest temporarily. I think they want to capitalize on it with the PS5. I mean, especially when you think about how beautiful an Uncharted game could look on the PS5. I think it is. I heard Sony is approaching to acquire ZeniMax Media. Holy shit. If true. I don't think it's true, though. Don't forget Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.1 on PS5. Yeah, that is something I forgot to talk about during this week with the content. That is pretty awesome to hear. Big improvements. MBG, you are the GOAT YouTuber. Well, thank you so much for that, man. Really appreciate that. Do you think there will be exclusives within Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, such as weapons, cosmetics? I think, yeah, I could see. I mean, weapons, I don't know about that. Cosmetics, potentially. Any news from Sony San Diego studio? I'm excited to know what they're working on. Hopefully not Uncharted. I haven't, no, other than the fact that they're still hiring, I haven't heard much. Do you agree that since Microsoft doesn't have any launch games, it relies on third party and Game Pass to survive launch? Yeah, I mean, they don't really have much of a choice. I think one of the smartest things Microsoft could do is show gameplay of maybe a big third-party game like Cyberpunk running on the Series X. I think that would help them a lot. And maybe they will do that. Maybe that's something they're trying to do, but they're not doing that. Instead of doing that, they're just focused on advertising Game Pass. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it just would make more sense for them to show games running on their next-gen console and not talk about the services on their next-gen console. I feel like showing games running on your next-gen console would do I don't know, maybe a better job in selling your next-gen console. What's the price of the PS5 for you? I'm going to say $400 digital, $500 physical. We just hit 1.1K likes. Oh, yeah, we did. Thank you guys so much for that. Let's see if we can get to 1,200 likes. I really appreciate you guys showing your support. Arthur Morgan says, I want to play as Dutch. Let me tell... No, I can't do Dutch. I think I can do Arthur Morgan, though. I can do Arthur Morgan's voice. I don't know about that, Dutch. Is that pretty good? Is that a pretty good Arthur Morgan? I can't do Dutch's voice, though. His is a little bit more... Is the Xbox Series S still a thing? It is. No, I don't know if there's going to be any mic drop moments. ZeniMax Media CEO recently sacked from company. I don't know what that means. Do you think Bluetooth 5.1 Sony can allow Bluetooth headphones to work with the PS5? Maybe, if they want to. Uncharted 4 had proper closure. No need to ruin it like The Last of Us 2. Better for Naughty Dog to focus on new IP. I'd love to see, yeah, Naughty Dog. If Uncharted 5 is happening, it's not Naughty Dog making it. I plan on buying merch. It will be the first merch I buy from someone. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And thank you to everybody. Yeah, that's another way. If you guys want to support me directly, I do offer some merch. If you want to rep MBG. MBG, apparently Sony moved a lot of PS4 games to PS5 because no competition during this gen. Yeah, I think that's kind of obvious. That's not a bad thing either. Just goes to show how much they, how much they doubled down on content. Did you see the recent 4chan leak about the September 9th PS5 event? I think I did, actually. I don't know if I believe it. Maybe we'll make a video on it. Maybe you could tell me some of the stuff it said, so we're talking about the same leak here. Do you think it would be a good idea for Sony to buy the studio in China that makes Black Myth Wukong? Yeah, I think it would be if they can, yeah. Is Beyond Good and Evil 2 canceled? I don't know. I don't know, man. See here. I missed... you missed the live. How likely is September 9th? I think it's pretty likely, honestly. I mean, I'm not going to be shocked if it's a little bit after that, but I think Sony knows people are getting antsy. I think it just depends on, like, if Sony caught word that, oh, Microsoft is doing something on September 5th or 4th or something, then they're like, okay, let's lock in the 9th. It's either that or maybe Sony would decide, you know what, we don't need to wait anymore. Screw Xbox, we're not waiting. They could have very well decided that. When Sony announced increase in production, they said 5 million in August through October, then another 5 million by December. So I have a theory that Sony is going to surprise release at the end of October. That'd be shocking. That would be shocking and amazing. Excited for Gotham Knights. Am I excited for Gotham Knights more than the Avengers game? The Avengers game is fine, but it's looking boring to me, in your opinion. I think it does, yeah. Avengers is all right. Like, I'll play it, but my God, like, they just announced, like, a season pass or something for, like, each hero, and I'm just like, what the why? Like, that's just so dumb. Gotham Knights looks good, though. I am more excited for that. Do you think that Sony will announce the next God of War, the next event? I think it's a 50-50 chance, honestly. I want to say yeah, because I don't know why. Sony just comes off to me like they want to be Kratos. Like they want to have a Kratos moment when it comes to just how badly they're going to uppercut Sony. Or no, yeah, Sony's going to uppercut themselves. No, where they're going to uppercut Microsoft. I just get this feeling that they do just want to, you know, I don't know. They just want to decimate. Do you think Sony may announce the next? I read that. Sorry. Is Ratchet and Clank a kids game? No. Say that's my girl in an Arthur Morgan voice. That's my girl. I don't know. Does that sound like him? I don't know if that sounds like him. I'm gonna say it doesn't. That's my girl. Did you register with PlayStation for PS5 pre-orders? I did, but I haven't gotten anything yet. MBG at launch for the digital PS5, do you think they will allow you to take out the items that you don't want instead of putting it all together? I don't know exactly what you mean by that. I want to say yeah, though, because I feel like you're going to have the option to, like, if you're talking about the accessories and stuff, could you voice Jin Sakai? I don't know. No, I don't know. That's kind of what he sounds like, though, isn't it? Like, Jin, he just sounds like, I am the ghost, but I don't want to be the ghost, but I have to be the ghost. Because this is called Ghost of Tsushima. Like, I feel like that's exactly what he sounds like. He has like a very like peaceful, calm voice. If I ever visit Morocco, I'm welcome in your house. Well, thank you. Will you be playing the Outer Worlds DLC? No, I didn't play the Outer Worlds. Didn't really, I don't know. It's not really interested in it. Vegeta or Goku? I think I'm going to say Goku. Am I married? Would it shock you if I said yes? Do you think Sony will release a black PS5 in the future? I do think they will. What am I going to eat? I don't know. Maybe I'll make some oatmeal. I'm trying to be healthy. Oatmeal's healthy, right? Would you watch Ratchet and Clank in the movies with other 5-year-old kids? No, I don't know. I'm not going to the movies anymore these days, so how do you think the PS5 UI will look? I think it'll look cool. Have I beaten Ghost yet? I don't. I'm almost there. I'm just taking my good old time with it. Do you think Sony can announce... Yeah, I already got to that one. Would you be excited if Sony made a Black Panther game? Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Have you played the classic R and C games? Believe it or not, yeah, I played Ratchet and Clank 1 through 3 on the PS2. I just totally, they didn't stick with me. But I remember enjoying them. But I don't know. It's like, did you ever play games before that you kind of forgot you played them? I played Ratchet and Clank 1 through 3. As shocking as that sounds. And I did enjoy them. New Splinter Cell game will be shown on September Ubisoft Forward. Maybe, that'd be pretty cool. Dude, could you imagine if that was a PlayStation exclusive, considering it's been known to be an Xbox exclusive or timed exclusive? Could you imagine that? Do you think if you didn't get the registration email for pre-orders, you will be able to get a PS5? I hope so. I think you'll still be able to, yeah. Oyakarumi, you're saying digital or physical games. Which one do you choose? Physical, for sure. I mean, I don't know. I say that, but I've been buying a lot of my games digitally. So when I can go with physical and when it's, convenient for me to do so, for sure physical. I prefer physical. MVG, how much money have you spent on PlayStation so far? I don't know. A lot of money, though. A lot of money. Oh, I just lost my place. Let me see. MVG is the only honest person on the internet who doesn't sugarcoat the truth, and that goes both ways. Well, thank you. I try really hard not to, go too far off the deep end, because I feel like part of not sugarcoating the truth for some people is act radical and aggressive, and I feel like I've been trying to work harder recently, or more on trying to just be more thoughtful and methodical, and not, I will always get emotional, obviously, but, thank you. Avengers is just another MTX filled dumpster fire. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe. It looks like it'll be a fun game, but I hope that it's not the type of game where monetization gets in the way, because that's just so annoying, man. 11 party titles, including already revealed ones, deep dive look at the UI, and unannounced about PlayStation Now, release date, price announcement from Japan Studio. I think you're reciting the leak. A lot of that does sound plausible, but let's be honest, guys. I may still cover this leak later on, so don't hold it against me if I do, but we have to understand that a lot of these leaks, they, at this point, we kind of know what to expect. So anybody could make a leak and sound plausible, You're telling me to go check out Red Gaming Tech's new video on the PS5? Yeah, I'll have to go check that out. Will Kratos ever be Kratos again? I don't know, man. I like the new Kratos. I think I like the fact that new Kratos, I mean, Kratos has always been a human character and a relatable character, but he's also been a very extreme character. And I feel like the removal of that extreme aspect makes him even cooler. A natural maturation process. And you could say he's matured in line with the PS5. Do I have a professional email? I do. If you go to the About tab on my YouTube channel, you should be able to check out my email. So if you have anything you want to send me, it's of importance, feel free to go check that out. What's my favorite PlayStation exclusive? The first one that always just pops in my mind is Bloodborne. Bloodborne was amazing. Like it's just the atmosphere of that game, the world, something very special. Hurry up, I'm hungry. Yeah, I am. We'll go just a little bit longer here. I know I was like, oh, I'm not going to do this podcast for 2 hours, and yet here we are. You should be a voice actor, MBG. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I've been told that like I'm pretty good at acting. I don't know about voice acting, but like, I don't know. When I was in like second grade, I did a play, and apparently I was like really good in it. I don't know. I was in second grade, so I'm like, how good can an 8-year-old or 9-year-old be? So, there you go. Maybe you can figure out how old is MBG. Was I really 8 though? What I do know is that the play was Romeo and Juliet, and I was the bad guy. Fitting, right? MBG married. Wife reveal. There's just some things that eventually maybe we can reveal here. You know, the thing is, it's not so much that I'm like super concerned about like, oh my God, like I don't want anybody to know anything about me. It's more just like, I just don't think it's really relevant, but I know that, you know, as we continue to grow the community, you guys would like to know more about me. So I don't want to reveal everything at once because I just feel like it, you know, it ruins the surprise. Over time, you know, we can do some cool stuff, but MBG is the only honest person on the internet who doesn't sugarcoat. Thank you, buddy. Yeah. MBG is married to Brown Sugar. No, I can assure you I'm not married to Brown Sugar. MBG is a teen dad. Oh God, I'm losing track, guys. Are you a fan of The Office? Yeah, I'm a big fan. How many kids do you have, MBG? I have 8 kids. I have 8 kids. It's crazy that you can't hear them right now in the background. This mic I got, it's really good. Guys, I'm losing track. I'm sorry. See, I feel like the longer these Q&As go on, you guys start to feel like, oh, we're getting to know more about MBG. Let's keep poking and prying. Wow, okay, bird just like flew into my window. That was weird. Do you think trophies on PlayStation will change the icon? Will they change the icons on the PS5? No. How long are you going to wait to pick up an Xbox Series X? I don't even know if I'm picking up a Series X. Think the PS5 pre-orders will sell out the first day? Yes, I do. Isn't Spider-Man Miles Morales 4K 60 performance mode? Yes. Ratchet 4K. How would that work with Ratchet 4K 30? I don't know, man. We're gonna have to wait to see to get the details on that. Love your content, dude. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I'm trying to keep up. You do have a good voice. Thank you. You should team up with TCMF. Yeah, he makes some pretty good content. I don't know. I'm still a lone wolf out here for now. Did I buy a PS Vita? No, I never did. Will you be buying PS5 accessories? Yes, I plan to buy all of them. Are you secretly name Kian? I don't know who that is, so I'm going to say no. Damn, the RNC downgrade practically has the same heat as Spider-Man. It's ridiculous. Would you support Sony if they doubled their prices of games and console? Yeah, I would, because I'm not going to lie. Like, some of the stuff they're offering, it's too good to pass up. LSSJT, dude, if Pinocchio told people that his nose grows whenever he tells the truth, no one would ever know that he's lying to them. Yes, LSSJT. You bring up a good point. You should maintain some mystery. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. See, like, it's funny because people are now going to be like, wait, if MBG said he was 8, maybe I can figure out how old he is. Guys, you're never going to figure out how old I am. Okay? I'll tell you how old I am. I'm 32. But am I really? Do you believe I'm 32? Do I sound 32? Or do I sound more like I'm 21? Which could it be? Or is it somewhere in between? Would you believe me if I told you I was 44? Would you believe that? Do I have 8-pack abs? Yeah, right. I wish. Dude, I did have abs. I kind of lost them. I'm actually working really hard to try to get back in shape because this whole gyms being closed thing really took a toll on me. I've been eating the same amount as if I'm still working out. And, you know, I've been trying to, but working out at home in the same way, it's just not the same as working out at the gym. So I'm really curious what type of videos will we be uploading when the PS5 releases. We'll still be keeping like the normal news content and stuff, you know. Do I sound 50? Really? I don't think I sound 50. I think I don't know. I feel like my voice gets too high pitched where I'm not 50. Cause like when I'm 50, I feel like I'm going to sound more like this, you know? I don't know. MBG is an ageless eldritch god sent to destroy Xbox once and for all. That was funny to read, I gotta tell you. Carved up. Greater than carved up. MBG versus Abby, who wins? I'm pretty sure I could take Abby with arm wrestling, okay? In a fight, I don't know. She seems, considering she's been surviving in a post-apocalyptic world, I'm gonna say she could probably, you know, she could probably take me or there'd be a good fight, but arm wrestling, I could probably take her. He has no age. He's immortal. Let me see. With MVG with a David Hayter voice. All right, let me try my Snake impression. I don't know what kept you waiting, huh? I feel like that's not that good. You wouldn't know it, but I've been practicing my solid Snake impression for years to no avail. David Hayter, I don't know. I love him as Snake, man. Like when I found out he wasn't voicing Snake anymore, I was so depressed. I really was. MBG versus Abby with a golf stick. A golf club. I'm going to say Abby wins that one. Am I going to be on Twitch? No. That's good, LOL. MBG's a Slipknot fan. Yeah, I am. I'm really into metal, rock, classic rock, all types of rock, honestly. Although a lot of modern rock, I don't know, it just doesn't. But I'm in the metal for sure. I drum too, so that's why I'm really into it. I mean, I'm not. You know, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm into all types of music. Like, I can admit I am not into all types of music. Like, I won't listen to most music because I just don't think it sounds good. But yeah, I don't know. MVG kept us waiting for his podcast. That's for sure. Dude, that should be my new opening line for the podcast. All right, guys. Kept you waiting for the podcast. That'll be the new intro. I feel like this is getting really cringe really fast. You sound like you're still in college. No. I'm actually in high school. What language do you speak? I don't know. What language do I speak? Did Mick Gordon give you goosebumps when playing Doom Eternal? Yeah, I love. That's one of the. I mean, I didn't play the Doom games, which is ridiculous, but I have watched enough of it, and I really get into it because I'm like, damn, like how have I not played this game? It's so metal. I don't know why I haven't. When you finally wake up to VR, create a sub channel called MBG VR. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like it's probably just best to consolidate everything into one channel. Dude, drumming video when? I don't know. See, the problem is a while ago I bought an electric drum kit, and I would prefer to play acoustic drums, but for the sake of convenience, I went with electric, and it's still great. Also, acoustic kits, unless you get like some soundproofing, they annoy the hell out of neighbors. But if I were to ever do a drum video, I would definitely have to, I don't know, I could probably do it with electric. I gotta upgrade my drums though. Guys, donate some more money. I need to go buy that new $10,000, or it's not $10,000. I need to go buy that new $5,000 Roland electric drum kit. So donate some money so I can go buy that. I'm kidding, of course, but I would love to get something like that. Pretty sure Eminem created the SSD in the PS5. What? Oh, wait, I think I get that joke. Did I play Detroit Become Human? I played like half of it, and then I just never finished it for some reason. An ageless married drummer with 8 kids. Anthony Howard, bro, you drum, same here. We should do a drum off. Yeah, I don't know, man. I have to admit, like, playing on an electric kit for so long has kind of, it messes with your, like, it's just not the same. I really enjoy it, but it's just not the same as a real kit. Tool, yeah, I love Tool. Ratchet and Clank 60 FPS mode, me/you co-stream. Nah, man, I appreciate the super chat, but I stream solo for now. But MBG should make a TikTok. Yeah, right. Never in a million years. You couldn't pay me to be on that platform. Returnal will be a launch game? ? I hope so. What kind of drum set do you have, brother? I think it's it's an electric kit. It's an Alesis, and I want to upgrade to Roland, but I'm like, I don't know. I like drumming on acoustic so much better, but I've run into so many issues in the past with noise complaints. It just doesn't feel worth it. Considering it's not something I pursue in a serious manner where like I'm trying to start a band or just make some type of career off of it or something, you know what I mean? But I do want to upgrade. Double bass, yeah, for sure. Do a drum roll before the price reveal. One day, guys, in a video, I mean, I don't know. I've never recorded anything, but I will let you know. Maybe one day, like the background music you hear in a video, it'll just be me drumming or something. One day, maybe. I don't know. I would have to figure out how to record it and all that crap. But top 3 favorite drummers. Oh, John Bonham's at the top for me. John Bonham. God, there's so many great ones. When it comes to like metal drumming, like modern metal, even though he's not with Lamb of God anymore, Chris Adler of Lamb of God. I love his style. He's got like these grooves. And Danny Carey from Tool, man. So I think those are my top 3. MBG, does MBG stand for anything? Muscle Bound Gamer. Bicep Revealer Re-Riot. This is going on way too long. I guess it's just because I'm having fun with the chat Q&A. What gaming podcast do you listen to? Lately, the only one I've been listening to is Sacred Symbols. That's like about it, though. But occasionally I listen to other ones. I don't listen that often. Will you play the Avengers with members? I don't know. Maybe that's a member perk I can add later on. Don't worry. There will be... the channel will evolve over time, and, you know, things will change. So... do I like... I like your question. Do I like Cheez-Its? Yes, I do like Cheez-Its. I think they're quite good, actually. They sound pretty good right now, I gotta tell you. Imagine you're walking out of GameStop with your PS5 and MBG just uppercuts you and steals it. Nah, dude, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not that kind of person. I would never do such a thing. It would be pretty comical, though. Just because it's like, really? If you're good at voicing, then you should voice a character with Samuel L. Jackson and do a buddy spin or something saying MFLL. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I feel like you got to really work your way up. Black Keys fan, blues rock fan. I mean, I like their music. I'm not a big fan. Blues rock, yeah, I get into all types of rock. MBG is in high school, but also has 8 kids. High school plus MBG equals 8. No. High school plus 8 kids equals MBG. There you go. What the dude? Some of the questions you guys are asking, like, what in God's name? If you're into metal drums, take a listen to Crown of Phantoms by Chimera. Dude, I love Chimera. Dude, when I started getting into Chimera, they broke up, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Yeah, dude, they're one of my favorite bands. So I do drum to them a lot. It's the single best track I've heard in the studio recording. Yeah, they were really good, man. Underrated. Can I play Slipknot Pulse of the Maggots? I don't know. I don't think I've ever tried playing that one. I do play some Slipknot, though, sometimes. Do I squirrel hunt? No, I don't. How did I come up with the name MBG? I like gaming and I like lifting weights, so muscle-bound gamer. Got to roll MBG. Have a great day. Well, thank you so much, buddy. Yeah, I'm going to be ending this very soon. Yeah, Joey Jordanson's he's a really good drummer. I like the new drummer. Do a Kratos voice impression. Okay, ready? Here we go. I've been working forever on this one. Here we go. Ready? Boy, how was that? Was that good? I think I nailed it. You see. What is my gamer food? Honestly, like pretzel rods. I just eat like pretzel rods. Because they're like, they don't mess your hands up while you're gaming, you know? What do you think about the world, MBG? I have a lot of different thoughts about the world. I don't feel I should share them here, but it's a lot of good, a lot of bad. Am I secretly working for Santa Monica? I don't know. Am I? MBG is married to PlayStation, LOL. MBG has a secret meaning. I don't know, man. How many eyes do I have? I have 3. I have 3. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I don't know. All right, I feel like this is getting a little bit dumb now. Is it just me? Do a Trump impression? No, not going there. I don't think I could do a Trump impression. Am I interested in space and astronomy? I actually am very interested in space and astronomy, believe it or not. A lot of videos I watch on YouTube involve it. And I try not, I said this the other week, but I try not to get too heavily into it because it blows my mind so much. It like mentally incapacitates me temporarily. Like I can't think too deeply about it because I'm like, what is the meaning of life? Like it's too crazy. MBG, you're the best. Thank you. Have you tried becoming a voice actor? I have not. I wouldn't know how to. But MBG, the podcast showed up on my feed today. I didn't have to search for it. Awesome. Maybe the problem fixed itself. MBG, your podcast makes for great listening material on my way to and from work on Mondays. Thanks. No problem, buddy. I'm glad you enjoy it. How do I feel about the Nintendo Switch? I think it's great. I just think that I'm not into Nintendo's games per se, but I think it's a great console. I think they're doing it right. If I were to create a game, what would it be about? I think it would be about a dude who started as an Xbox gamer, made an Xbox YouTube channel, but then realized his mistake and then went to PlayStation and then became a PlayStation YouTuber. And then the ending would be you get a PS5 and that's like your ultimate victory. The Earth is flat. Yeah, I don't know about that, man. I don't think the Earth is flat. MVG, contact Young. Yeah. Why? I like Young. Yeah, I watch his content. I think he does a good job. He's very professional. I respect him a lot. You know what I like best about Young? Yeah, is he's a diehard Metal Gear fan. I remember watching his content for Metal Gear Solid 5, dude. Like, I really connected with that guy, you know, because he's a diehard Metal Gear fan. And I really appreciate that about him. Do I like soccer? No, I'm not a fan of soccer, honestly. Am I planning to make a community on PlayStation? I've been saying for quite some time that I was going to. Shout out from Germany. How much does it blow your mind that people from all over the world enjoy your content? It always blows my mind, man. It really does. It's crazy, but that's the power of the internet, man, and the power of YouTube, and it's really nice. It's nice to be able to connect to all different types of people. What's your favorite planet? I'm going to say Earth is my favorite planet. Jupiter's pretty neat. For sure. What do you think about do you think it's true that the PS5 uses liquid metal cooling? I do, yeah. I do. Do you think we will see Metal Gear Solid come back eventually? I do. I did tell you guys that if a new Metal Gear Solid game gets announced and it's a PS5 exclusive, I told you guys I will film myself doing a little workout with Metal Gear Solid music in the background, only using the PS5. And I'm not kidding about that. So look out for that announcement if it happens, because I'm going to have to do that. And if MVG is Solid Snake, then who is Liquid Snake? I don't know. That's a good question. Did I watch David Jaffe's video on the Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart? I didn't. Ask Eddie Bravo, the earth is flat. Yeah. Do I like detective or murder mystery type games? Not usually. I mean, I really have to be interested in those types of games. MBG, I'm from Jupiter. I'm glad you think my planet is neat. Yeah, Jupiter's cool. Do I watch Mystic? Yeah, I do watch Mystic. Mystic's good. I like his content. He's very professional as well. Are you real life? I like to think I am. I should be in the next Metal Gear Solid. I'd love to be in the next Metal Gear Solid. Dude, I'm telling you guys, and I guess this is where I'll end it because I think I'm starting to like lose it a little bit here from going on so much. The last thing I'll say is like Metal Gear Solid is like my favorite game franchise of all time. Snake's my favorite character. So, if we see Metal Gear Solid return in a big way on like PlayStation, man, I'm gonna lose it. MBG, you sound like a Michael. No, I'm not a Michael. Your MGS video idea can become a YouTube hit. You should do it anyways. Yeah, you're probably right about that. See, that's the thing is like, I feel like there's a lot of different things I could do that could eventually like just creative ideas, but they're just so silly and so far out from what like I think people are subscribed to my content for. I don't want to ever just do stuff where it's like, hey guys, I'm not really making this content for you. I'm just making it with the hopes that it, becomes a hit and makes millions and millions of views. So MVG sounds like a Todd. No, I'm not a Todd either. Are you a chubby chub? What? Dude, some of the questions you guys have. No, I'm not. I mean, I've gained a little bit of weight because of the whole pandemic thing and, staying inside. But no, I'm not. I'm not overweight. I try to stay, as fit as I can and as lean as I can, obviously. MBG sounds like a Keanu. Uh-oh. You might be on to something there. All right, I'm going on way too long. You guys are asking me all these questions, and I like to do this though at the end of the podcast when I can, because I feel like it's just a nice way to interact with you guys, especially and also because I don't want people to think that in order to ask questions you always have to super chat, because that's not the case. I see you guys are trying to get in your last questions. Let me see. Have I ever played Little Big Planet? No, I never have. I've heard good things. But all right, guys, I want to ask you one more favor before you leave. Before you head out, we still have over 1,100 people here. Make sure you hit that like button. You guys crushed it today. We're already basically at 1,300 likes. So however far we can go beyond that, it's awesome. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for hanging out with me for so long. I did not expect this podcast to last so long. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, again, leave a like. And for those of you who watch after the fact, leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Excuse me. Thank you to all my members. Thank you to all of those who spend super chats or donate super chats, I should say. It really means a lot. I really appreciate your continued support. So that's going to do it, guys. Until next time, take care.